So this episode has some audio errors to it. I'm in the process of figuring out where exactly the issues lie, but I think I may have gotten it, as you could probably tell from how my voice sounds right now. But either way, I'm going to try to figure out how to fix this. Okay, no, I came to the conclusion. Okay, so remember when I said that I wanted to do some, I wanted to unlock the rest of the classes? I kind of want to do that now. Uh, I kind of want to get, like, level 1 of Pugilist, level 1 of Thaumaturge, and then, like, level them up into the background, and then do the quest lines. I think I'm gonna want to do that, just so I can have them there. Like, one of the biggest problems with being an Omni-classer like I am, you start running out of space a lot. Also, don't worry about this, I'll explain that later. You start running out of space a lot, because, again, this is just the stuff that I have right now from our crafting and gathering stuff with our 3 classes. Like, when you eventually unlock all 20 combat classes, I was just looking at that, and I just realized that you can fit like an 8-man group with each of the crafting things. Huh. Yeah, the 11 crafting and gathering classes, the 20 combat classes, with 2 more showing up in the next expansion, maybe 3 if they're feeling generous. Like, you know for a fact that this is going to, like, change around, like, the way it's laid out so it looks a little bit better, because if it really is 3, that's literally all 3 of the slots. The idea is that, like, they're gonna add another class that shares the armor set with Rogue, and then another caster, but, like, because of the location, and we might talk about it eventually, people, I'm one of the people that believe that they're actually gonna add another limited job, like Blue Mage, that uses the same kind of thing. But is probably a healer, based off of, like, how that class used to go. But, you know, all of that's just speculation right now. So, again, we could go and head to Thancred right now. But what I want to do is I want to unlock Pugilist, I want to unlock Thaumaturge, gonna level them up a bit, and just start their side quests. And it's mostly just so we could have them on the books. So I could level them up in the background and, like, then do stuff with them. Okay. Greetings and welcome to the Pugilist Guild. We Pugilists are specialists in hand-to-hand combat. Through rigorous training, we forge devastating weapons with our fists and feet, which we employ to great effect in battle. There is no better place in all the realm to train in our discipline than here. If you could walk the path of the pugilist, I highly recommend you add your name to our roll. What do you say, friend? A decision you will not regret. But before we proceed to the paperwork, it's essential that you know something about our guild's storied past. Since time immemorial, man has used whatever has been at his disposal to settle disputes. In the beginning, that meant fighting with his fists, such as hand-to-hand combat existed in various forms throughout Eorzea, each evolving independently of each other. The origins of pugilism as we know it, however, can be traced back to the staging of a bare-handed bout at the Colosseum. These contests attracted fighters from far and wide, bringing their myriad styles clashing together on the blood sands. Amidst the chaotic intermingling of styles, there arose a pugilist of singular strength and skill. This woman made her life's mission to master every form that she encountered, that she might refine her art. Among her many Among her many song-worthy exploits, we pugilists remember her anticipation in a gladiator tournament most fondly. Back when barehanded fighting was still seen as a pastime for peasants, she took on fully armed and armored gladiators, and effortlessly bested the lot of them. Word of her feat spread across the realm like wildfire, of course, and Old Das swiftly transformed into a center of pugilism, with people flocking from all over the train under the master among masters. This woman's name was Cornelia, and it was her that the Pugilist Guild owes its existence. The art practice here is based off of her all-encompassing style, and this training hall is modeled after the one that she once built. And there it is, a brief history of our guild. I've told this tale a thousand times, but gods, does it never fail to fan the flames of my fighting spirit. Now then, before you proceed with your enrollment, you must first obtain the guildmaster's approval. Let me know when you're ready to meet him. So you ready? Master Haman is among the greatest pugilists of our time. For long years, the man ruled the Blood Sands as the Holy Fist. Though he has since retired in favor of training aspiring fighters, you will find him overseeing his charges yonder. Now, go and show him the fighting spirit that burns within you. Pastime got your horse back here. Well, what did the dancer have to say about my proposition? You know my errand, boy. There's no dancer. There never was, and I'm not doing anything indecent, I swear to the gods. Okay, dude. What? You're here to enroll? Oh, why didn't you say so? In my capacity as a guildmaster, I will give you a primer on the art of hand-to-hand combat. Doubtless you already know this, but we pugilists fight with our fists and feet. While we don't deal as much damage as a blade, it hardly matters. When you can land several blows for each swing of the sword, what we lack in destructive force, we more than make up for in speed and cunning under my guidance. Not only will you master striking techniques, you also learn to string them together to deliver an endless fury of blows. Through only fierce combinations can a pugilist realize his potential. Yar. 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 Crikey has spent all that I'm spent from all this talking. You ought to speak more last. It'll give me a chance to catch my breath. Where was I? Oh yeah, joining the guild. Before you do so, I must warn you that the path of the pugilist is long and arduous. Do you believe that you have what it takes to go the distance? Be honest to yourself now. Yes. Well, you have the fighting spirit I can see in your eyes. I see no reason to deny you a place in these halls. Welcome to the guild, lass. To help you on your way, I'll add some names to the hunting log opponents so that you may hone your skills against. And so as to make a budding pugilist like you, here's your very own pair of Hora. They're a tad old and rusted, but that'll serve to make you look meaner, I reckon. Now I have a mind to assign you your first lesson. Arm yourself with your weapon and let me know when you're ready to begin. There we go. I'm now wearing a shirt at least. Looking every bit a pugilist, lass. Now, learning can commence. For your first lesson, I want you to test your fledgling skills against the vermin of Thanalin. Get out there and put down 3 marmots, 3 hornets, and 3 shrews. return her when the deed is done. Now, this goes without saying, but I expect you to fight using the aura I just gave you. Counts for naught if you skewer the beasties with a spear or fry them with a spell, I say. Oh my gosh. Okay, so the Emperor's New Fist, this item right here, is actually something that we're immediately going to be putting into the glamour dresser when we get a chance. Right now I don't have a crafter or gatherer that is level 30, so I can't get the let me see if it's here. I need like actual crystals, not the one that I have, the shards. So I need to get to like level 30 with crafter with my gathering stuff before I can even make these. But luckily, since I can't even get them high quality, I don't really need to worry too much about making sure I max all that out. So anyway, I'll be right back as I kill these creatures. I'll probably even like get pretty far in the hunting log too. Again, like I've been getting at least a rank 2 with each thing that with each class I've been getting onto it. So yeah, I'll be right back. Okay, so to kind of explain what happened, I kind of lost the footage of me starting this, of turning in the previous quest and starting this one. Basically, let me see if I could pull it up. Complete other, no, job quest. Having formally accepted you into the Pugilist Guild, Haman gifts you with your very own pair of aura. Arm yourself with them and speak with the Guildmaster once more to receive your first instructions. Okay. And then we started this one, which has the custom-made shirt. To get you warmed up for the lesson, Haman bids you to run and pick up Gil that he scoured across the city. By sprinting as often as possible, you will be able to complete the task more swiftly. The best way to kind of describe the entire like thing I went on was basically to talk about how there used to be a third bar right here for technical points that melee skills were based on, and sprinting was actually really is pretty useful, but it uses technical points, and I believe only DPS classes got sprint. I could be wrong about that though, but that's what I remember being told. That's my money lying out there, lass. Well, here's the 5 coins I picked up. 500 gil, crikey, that's worth a week's load of... I mean, well done, Blue. Now that you've warmed up, you can see to your lesson, a trial to be precise. Take yourself to Scorpion Crossing in Western Thanalan, and you'll find 4 large stones, the trial stones they're called. I want you to deal each of these stones a solid boot-shine combo. The impact will rouse the earth spirits that sleep within, which you must then defeat. If you find yourself hard-pressed, then no shame in running away. You're still learning the ropes after all. Once you've gotten your wind back, you can hurl yourself into the fray again, and remember this. Strikes bring down opponents, but it's your footwork that keeps you standing. Now glow Blue, and good luck. Okay, now we've got to go hit 4 rocks. Okay, there we go. Now we've beaten some rocks. Yeah, as you could probably tell, this one's a little bit less involved in the beginning than some of the other ones. At least in the beginning ones. You know, they're still trying to get your footing before the story starts. So you're giving the Earth Sprites what for? Well done, Blue. By smiting stone and earth, you forged unyielding weapons with your fists. You're nigh endless fount of vigor, Blue. Aye, just like myself in my younger days. Must be the promising recruit you've been telling me about. Well, of course she's promising. She's training under Hamon Holy Fist. That's our Master Hamon. By the way, that long O sound that he does there is how I know it's pronounced Hamon and not Hammond. Because so many people pronounce it Hammond, but I'm like, nah, I'm pretty sure this is a JoJo reference. Blue, I don't believe I've introduced my assistant yet. This is Chuchuto. A pleasure to make your acquaintance. As introduced, I serve as Master Hamon's right hand, though there's still much and more I have yet to learn together. Let us strive for master of our art. Chuchuto joined the guild soon after I was made its master. She's my very first student, as a matter of fact. Well, there was one other, to be sure, but let's not dwell on the past, Master. But Blue's bright future we're discussing. Oh, it's her future. Which reminds me, did you collect my gil from her? My gear is rather worn down, and I do need the money for repairs. Yes. Blue's future with this is bright indeed. If she keeps up her efforts, she may as well become the next Holy Fist. Train hard, young one, and grow strong. When the time's ripe, I'll have another little lesson for you. Laughing noise. Coughing noise. Clearly we're gonna get the custom shirt, because why not? Yeah, so as you can see, I actually put all of the invisible stuff in there as well, so we can start working with it. So let's... Alright, still haven't gotten anything better than the level 5 stuff I had. So, set for link to Glamour Plate 9, which is currently set to Pugilist stuff. So, you'll notice that I actually did something really interesting. So, these are monk arms, Pugilist. They're sometimes called claws or punching daggers, or, whatever. I'm very weird, okay? I will acknowledge the fact that this is a weapon in your hand, and the reason why they do that is so that you can have material slots in it and actually get something from it. But I'm one of those weird people that still ascribes to the idea that monks need to be unarmed. Like, it's a very odd hang-up for me, but I have to have that. It just doesn't look right if I'm not unarmed. So yeah. 1 second as we make new armor for our character. Man, future me is gonna hate the fact that I've made so many recordings. This should work. There we go. Okay. Now we're just gonna go back to old Da. Okay, now we're back. That took a lot longer than I thought. Okay. Guildmaster Hamon wishes to build upon your knowledge of combinations. There, Blue. I see you're training as hard as ever. Your eyes have started to see the sharpness of a predator about them. Last time you heard the basics of combination. Today, I will have you build on that knowledge. I've set up 5 wooden dummies outside the guild, along the merchant strip, by the way of a warm-up. I want you to deal each a solid boot-shine combo. Oh, and don't mind the townsfolk who've gathered to watch. Okay. So if you see me, like, click weirdly at things sometimes, it's because I recently switched my mouse back to left-click being main button from right-click being main button, and that's because for a while I had, like, a busted mouse that didn't like pressing the left button too much, so I had the right button be my my main one for a while. So the wooden dummies have fought your wrath? Good, now we can move on to your lesson. When you first came to us, I taught you that combinations make a pugilist. What you need to know is that not any hodgepodge of strikes makes a combination. There is an order to things, a natural flow from one technique to another. Today, I'll have you practice on one of the most elementary combinations in the pugilist arsenal. It goes like this. Lead in with a swift boot shine. Keep your toe off balance with a true strike. Then bring it home with a blistering snap punch. With practice combinations like that, as this, it'll become second nature. They must if you expect to become an accomplished pugilist. Now, you'll need some opponents to practice on. The Kirkern that infest the rat's nest in central Thanalan ought to serve. Hit them with a snap punch 3 times, and we'll call it a lesson well learned. Okay, they should just be up here. And I believe we just, all we have to do is do the 1, 2, 3 on each one of them. Okay, good. That was relatively simple. Hey, you've already mastered the snap punch combination. Crikey, Blue, you're a natural at it, just like I was. Not to brag, but I happen to be a veritable storm of flying fists when the mood strikes me. I treat you to a demonstration here and now, except I'm liable to tear down the entire guild in the process. Master Haman has a penchant for regaling us with tales of his exploits, but he's never really amount to a demonstration. His favorite is his victory over the fearsome Marauder Wide Axe, whom he felled with a combination so swift and seamless, they say you couldn't see his hands, where the legend goes. That one never gets old. Our dearest master's humility aside, your progress is truly astounding, Blue. If I don't keep on my toes, you're like to surpass me in a matter of moons. Just between you and me, Chuchito's been in a slump of late. It all began when her closest friend and guildmate suddenly up and disappeared. Ruakuta is the lad's name, and he and Chuchito joined the guild together. The two of them were born to refugees, and were orphaned in the Calamity. Not long after I was made guildmaster, I found them on the streets, starved near to death. I did what any decent man would. I took them in, and clothed them, and fed them. When they were strong again, they said they wanted to become pugilists like me, and so I trained them as well. Since then, they have been they've been best friends and rivals both, one helping to raise the other up. Would that we knew what would become of Ruakuta. But we're talking about you, Blue. You've impressed me yet again, and hope you continue to do so. Keep up the good work, you hear? I like how I'm just blankly staring at him. None of them... Oh, right. I'm like, none of these things are better than what I have. It's like, oh, right. Because I made level 14 gear for myself. Dang it, I have to get to level 15. 1 second. I completely forgot that I hadn't actually finished filling out the hunting log. Let me just do that really quickly by teleporting to Central Thanalan. Okay, level 15 questline. Here we go. Guildmaster Haman believes that you are ready for your next lesson. Ah, there are, Blue. I hope that you've come prepared for a lesson today. I want you to go and fight the toxic toads at the nest of the unholy air. Make no mistake, lass, these toads are huge, which means that they have huge guts, and that's beside the point. The point is that you'll need to use your heads to overcome them. Thanks to their immense girth, the toads hit hard. Fortunately, they tend to hit wild as well, so bide your time, wait for an opening, and that's when the opening, and when the opening shows, thwack. Rip and tear through the foe with your fists. As proof you've defeated the toads, I want you to bring me 5 of their legs. Chuchito and I will be waiting for you back at Blackbrush Station. Your lesson continues there. Okay. Should be easy enough. Also, if it hasn't been clear, most of this guild's quest lines are, man, we are out of money. And it is incredibly obvious. Yeah, so as you can see, toad enemies have a thing with their tongue that makes them kind of annoying to deal with, but it shouldn't be too hard since they give you a long time to actually recover. So, where are they? Oh, they're just here at the station, okay. Okay, here they are. So did you bring the toad legs? This is the stuff, alright. Now I just need some butter, a slice of sun lemon, and a pinch of, master. What I meant to say was, you've done well to defeat the toxic toads, Blue. For the next part of your lesson, you'll be putting your endurance to the test against... Huh, the talk was true. Hamon Holy Fist is really here. Huh, I could take an area step outside the guild without being flocked by fans. Such is the price for fame. Please, sir, I have a great need of your legendary skills. Somnus is being smuggled through the Blackbrush Station. I reported this to the Brass Blades and Stone Torches. Asked them to put an end to it, but they both turn a blind eye. Somnus, the mind-warping substance that is made of dream flowers. Those who indulge in it are said to fall into eternal slumber. Dear friend suffered that very fate, and that's why I want to put an end to the smuggling. But I'm just an ordinary person. There's precious little I can do. You've done enough to bring the word to me, friend. As surely as Hamon Holy Fist is my name, I will see the smuggler scum thrown in the dungeon before the bell is through. Troll bless you, sir. You truly are a hero to us all. Slight change of plans, Blue. In place of the endurance test, we're gonna find and apprehend the smugglers. But first we need to gather information. You two find out what you can from the people at Blackbrush Station. Report back once you've learned something. Okay, now I just gotta talk around. Searching for Somnus smugglers, you say? Word is that they're associated with the Alacrin, the coalition of cold-blooded criminals, but beware, they're always in the act of... They always act in alliance. Yeah. If you didn't know, the Alacrin were the people that stole the crown during the main scenario quest. There's an abandoned Kirkin lair a short distance west from Coffer and Coffin. Decent folk tend to give that place a wide berth. Ideal for a smuggling operation, wouldn't you say? It appears a silver-haired Lalafell had been skulking around the station recently. He was headed west, bearing a suspicious burden. The Alacrin, a likely hideout, and a silver-haired Lalafell. I don't like the sound of this, not one bit. Like it as not, the smugglers operate outside the abandoned Kirkin lair, lay west of the Coffer and Coffin. We'll lie in wait for them there. Okay, now we just gotta run over there. By the way, I'm being a lot more liberal with the... And now I turn all of the audio off to tell future me this is the place where you edit, because future me does not know when I wanted to stop talking. Those balls, that's... You've really outdone yourself this time. Master Wegfar's found is gonna be bound to be pleased. Save the talk. We have crates to move. Rukuta, it's you, isn't it? Chuchuto. And Master, it's been a while. You vanished from the guild with nary a word, and we find you here smuggling somnus with these villains. What's the meaning of this? Rukuta, my boy, I didn't teach you how to fight so that you could become a pox in society. My student or no, you must be held accountable. Chuchuto, Blue, your lesson begins now. Apprehend the smugglers. You lot, take care of these meddlers. Okay, for some reason I couldn't target them until we were like mid-battle. So this is gonna take a bit. There we go. Okay, yeah, there's still more. Why are these star marmots like coming to fight us? Like, get out of here. There we go. That actually took a lot longer than I wanted. Come on, Holy Fist, just our luck. You know who I am, then it will be good for you. Then you know what's good for you. Come quietly, or there will be trouble. Holy Fist, don't make me laugh. You're being fooled, all of you. Who's fooling who? What in the world are you talking about? It was a dark night several moons ago. I was out in the wilds, training alone. From a distance, I caught sight of Master leaving the tavern and turning for the city. Thinking to accompany back, I followed in his heels. I was about to call it when I saw this. You would challenge the Holy Fist? You have fighting spirit, I grant you, but do you will to know your limits? So be it. Master? You read my every move. You're no ordinary marmot. Master! All I wanted is to be surrounded by scantily clad maidens when my time came. Oh, the gods are cruel. I don't appreciate how the silly music is playing for some reason. I don't know why. Master, what's the meaning of this? Explain yourself. Now you've seen it with your own eyes. Master is beaten by a marmot. And a common bleeding marmot. He would remind us how strong he was at every turn, but he was lying through his teeth. God, I could scarce believe my eyes. Wait till Master Wegfar learns about this. Also, I believe those supposed to be gaha. As in like a turtle, but oh well. Forgive me, Chuchuto. Blue, I didn't mean to deceive anyone, least of all my students. Haman Holy Fist conquered every foe that stood before him, but he couldn't conquer old age. My strength, my reflexes, my endurance, they've all left me. There's nothing here but a decrepit old man. I would be alone for a while. I'll make my own way back to the guild. From now on, you're to do as Chuchito bids, Blue. Can't believe it. How did Master become so weak? Yeah, that's... Like, it's one thing, for someone to go like, oh, I'm weak now in my old age, and to be so out of shape now that a common, like, level 1 enemy that he asked you to fight is giving him trouble. Like, clearly there's something else going on. Also, since I hit level 15, I'll probably do that dungeon training thing again, just so I can get the brand new set for DPS, so I can, and then I'll probably just shove that into the Glamour Dresser. I still have, how many do I have left? 18? Yeah. Like, farming all this stuff to get the, Glamour Prisms. Let me just pull them back up, since I'm currently rambling about them. Crafting logs. Yeah, I need to get 1 wind crystal from the Black Shroud, 1 fire crystal from Thanalin, 1 clear prism, which, like, sells for, like, 200 each. And then I need to farm 6 silver ore just so I can make enough to make 1 glamour prism. To get the 30 that I got, actually did take a while. So, just so you're aware. Until we actually get a way to buy them, that is our best way to do it. And as you kind of saw, like, it doesn't even really, like, put a mark of completion on it, I don't believe. Yeah, it doesn't. Because it's an optional craft. I've been doing some thinking, Blue. While 'tis true that Master had been deceiving us, he meant us no harm. Besides, I owe my life. Had he not taken me in all those years ago, I would have died in some ditch. I could never bring myself to hate him. Even if he were an ordinary man, I would still respect him. Alas, with the truth of his condition revealed, Master Haman has lost his sense of purpose, his will to teach. I cannot bear to see him like this. I want him to regain his confidence. But for this he needs to regain his former strength. Listen, Blue. Master never said that you reminded him of his younger... Ever said. I thought that said never. Were you to continue showing rapid improvement, I dare hope that it would rekindle his fighting spirit. To this end, I will teach you a new technique. One which Master Haman used to great effect during his prize fighting days. Steel Peak, it's called. And it sees you channel your gathered chakra into a powerful attack performed with your entire body. Make this technique your own, Blue, and strive to grow stronger still. When next Master Haman beholds you, he will surely be moved to action. What do I have on from the dungeon? I have the gloves, and I have the legs, I think. I'm unable to wear that right now, and that's basically what I'm wearing? Yeah, it's basically just, like, with a few stats better. Oh, well, it's also level 14 instead of 12. That probably explains why. Boots are also 12. Oh, but boots also give us materia slots. Definitely gonna do that then. I kind of want to be one of those guys that crafts all of my armor, but at the same time, it's kind of tedious, so probably not. Okay. So, meditation. I'm gonna just set meditation right there. We now have the chakra gauge. Opening all 5 of these allow for the execution of Steel Peak. I can't remember if it actually says which ones actually do give us a, There's like training dummies right here. Why can't I actually use any of them? Okay, next one up on the chopping block is for us to get a, is for us to do the, physical range DPS of the archer. And I'm gonna go over there and do that, but just before that, I'm gonna go grab the DPS stuff, like I said. Okay, hey boy. I changed up some stuff with the glamour plates and stuff, so now the summoner has the full acolyte set. I also got new gear for the gladiator because gladiator kept stealing stuff from other classes, like even like white mage. If I were to go over here, wants me to put the stuff with the gathering set, and I have no idea why. It's like, well, maybe they view perception as a higher stat? It's weird. Anyway, we're here to join the Thaumaturge Guild. Welcome to the Thaumaturge Guild. It's fate that has guided your steps here, friend. Within these hallowed halls, the art of devastation are taught, primeval magics with which to bring about an enemy's ruin. If you would to join our ranks and wield the power of thaumaturgy, I urge you to seize this moment and confide in me with your arcane ambitions. Yes, there are truly no other answer, is there? Now lean closer in now, and I shall whisper to you the thaumaturgy's beginnings. The nation of Ul'dah inherited traditions from ancient Beladia, a city founded by the descendants of the first mages. The secrets of these illustrious sorcerers were ultimately entrusted to the priests of the Order of Nalthal, who have passed them down from generation to generation ever since. Focused and refining over centuries of use in the Order's funeral rites, the arcane magics of our ancestors eventually emerged as the art we know now as thaumaturgy. A freezing blizzard to halt corruption, a raging fire to cleanse the corpse, a bolt of lightning to expel the sins of mortal life. The Dwemoners employed a... Dwemoners? It's like... yeah. Employed in the preparation of the dead were equally efficacious when applied to the living. Thus does our guild strive in the depths of the Arzaneth Ossuary, a sanctuary devoted to Thal, the divine arbiter of the afterlife. What say you then, adventurer? If you would plumb the abyssal depths of thaumaturgy, let our learned sages guide your descent. Before you leap into the darkness, you must prove to our guildmaster that you are possessed of the spiritual fortitude necessary to look upon that which waits with therein. When you're ready to submit to the judgment of our most eminent mages, say the word. A wise decision indeed. To prepare for your initiation, I would have you study the volumes of fundamental thaumaturgical principle, all 108 of them. Or at least I would have such requirements had that not been abolished. Too great a deterrent of fresh novices, they said. I suppose you shall just have to settle for calling upon the collective wisdom of our guildmasters. We have 5, you see, all brothers of the same house. Though they all wield supreme authority, it is the eldest who provides a singular voice of the guild. When one is required, Master Kokobigo, I believe. Okay. So, oddly enough, this is one of these. This is one of the quests where you actually find out the naming convention of Lullafell. So, Coco is their family name. So it's Kokobani, Kokobigo, Kokoboha, Kokobezi, and Kokobuki, who is clearly labeled over here as the guildmaster. Just sitting over in the corner. What? Who? False teeth, miss? Did your mother never tell you to not to startle a Thaumaturge? Oh, look at that expectant fate, Kokobigo. The lady is obviously a new applicant for the guild-seeking audience with our eldest brother. Prelate Yake. Yayake? Prelate. Prelate Yalake. She can recite the 307 verses of the funerary rites of the virtuous fallen, but the simple task of keeping her name straight seems to have ever beyond her grasp. Well, I am, for one, the constant confusion endlessly entertaining. My apologies, my dear. My merriment was not meant to mock your mistake, but our sibling Kokobuki with whom you speak. What's this? What's this? Thaw has led us a new aspirant? Aspirant? Ah, Kokobuki, you were here the whole time. Greetings, child. I am Kokobuki, the eldest and, I would venture to say, the wisest of the 5 masters of the Thaumaturge Guild. It is my solemn duty to flourish our would-be initiates with the succinct understanding of our beloved art. Thus, I would have your fullest attention. To wield thaumaturgy is to unleash devastation of the highest magnitude, and the lethal force of our spells far exceed the destructive capability of any other form of arcane manipulation. Fire, lightning, blizzards, solemnness. The Thaumaturge calls upon an expansive arsenal of offensive incantations and to incapacitate and obliterate all manner of adversaries. Open your mind to our sorcerer's teachings, and you, too, shall soon hold the unparalleled power of our discipline in the palm of your hand. Of course, such power has a price. You must be willing to plunge headfirst into the forbidding chasm of thaumaturgy's secrets, for advancement in this art only comes with the completion of deadly and terrible trials. I ask you, aspirant, are you prepared to leap into the abyss in pursuit of the power unrivaled? Sure, that whole thing, yes. A confident response. Your name, if you will. Very well, Blue. Let us mark your initiation with 3 eminently practical gifts. My first gift to you shall be the addition of your hunting log. The names of such enemies will be provided. The second and third gifts are this scepter and shield. Instruments you shall need to focus the destructive force of your will. Did you believe your initiation over? My dear disciple, we only have just begun. Taking your new weapons in hand and slay the same 3 enemies over and over again. Yeah, sure. This is the last one in Old Daw, so we don't have to look at star marmots for a while, but it's still the same 3 enemies. Okay, with that done, we got all of our stuff on our hotbar now. Guildmaster Kokobuki wishes you to test your limits of your thaumaturgical aptitude. Aptitude? That said aptitude. Don't know why I put an extra L in there. The scepter well complements the avid desire for destructive power written upon your features. Now we shall complete your initiation with a trial to test the limits of your aptitude for channeling thaumaturgy. Kill the 3 enemies. Cool. So the way that this gauge works, it's a little bit weird, but as time goes on, it starts evolving a little bit better with how exactly this whole thing works. But you'll see when we get out there. Like, this is one of the times I'm actually going to show this part, because Thaumaturge is a little bit weird. It's Like I said in an earlier video, it's probably the one of the more involved starting classes, because what we're going to do is we're going to cast Ice. We now get one pip on the on it. Effectively, what then happens is, oh my gosh, I haven't been there we go. We now have fire. When we cast fire, it shifts over to red. There we go. And that's effectively all you really need to know. When you have fire, you use a lot of MP to do a lot of damage. When you are casting ice, you do less damage, but you recover MP incredibly quickly. So that's basically the trade-off of the two. And we have the ability transpose, which we're going to get by the time that we actually finish this. And we just hot swap between them so we don't waste time casting one at a reduced amount. Because if we were to cast fire now, we only do 21 damage, but now that we're aligned to fire, we do 28. It's a slight difference. So we did 29 there. It's a slight difference, but you can tell how that scales up as time goes on. Where it's like, oh, okay. So when I hit this one at like level 80, I'm gonna be doing so much more damage. Depending on if I'm ice or fire. And that's just now. Like, we still have a bit to go when it comes to, like, other things. Currently have transpose bound to, a tilde key, because it's the easiest thing to hit right now. But yeah, that's effectively how this class works, and it's... They basically just explained it. Yeah, it goes up to 3 pips on each side, and then this part becomes a timer. Like, it gets, like, all over the place, and it's kind of neat, but it's, again, already, a lot of this is already, like, super involved from the very beginning. Oh, future editing me for that, like, half an hour of silence that I now have to edit out. But, I went and I grabbed all the stuff for the hunting log, as well as getting a two-handed Thaumaturge arm. Again, like, I already know that as of them moving from a Realm Reborn content into the patch quest, they stopped doing two-handed caster gear. Sorry, a one-handed caster gear. And it's like a definite line that is made, especially when we start getting the tombstone stuff. Like, I'm already preparing of like, nah, we're only using this stuff because we don't need a shield unless we're doing tanking. And it's basically just how that's going. You look like you've satisfied look at the mage who's utterly vanquished her foes. I formally welcome you into the Brotherhood of the Thaumaturges. The purpose of this trial was to gauge your capacity for wielding Thaumaturgy, an innate quality, the limits of which are bound by the level of etheric energy flowing through your physical being. Oh, that took a while. Ether, the very stuff of life, exists within all living creatures to a greater or lesser extent. Remember this, for it's the most basic law of arcane manipulation. As your experience grows, so shall your reserves of thaumaturgical endurance. The wellspring of your magical might will also swell in response to moments of extreme terror and duress. When you find yourself seeking greater challenge, when next you crave the thrill of exquisite fear, that is when you shall know that the time has come for you to visit me once more. Reach level 5. Don't worry, I'm already there. Your burgeoning power strains against the confines of your untried mortal shell. Another trial you must have. From this day forth, your tasks and challenges will be shaped by the teaching found within Thaumaturge, the Yawning Abyss, a tome penned by the renowned Thaumaturge Zozomaya. My brothers, who have not once tasted the bitter draught of defeat, I've never known that this is draught or drow. I believe the T is silent. Or silent. Will instruct you on the vital lessons to be gleaned from the 4 extensive chapters that comprise the exemplary work, much of which you learn about the threats of which a practitioner of our art must contend. The first chapter, the threat of intimacy, falls within Cocobrigo's purview. It is only fitting that one so adverse to being approached should teach you the wisdom of being uncovered therein. Oh, that's my bird. Yes, Blue, I've been expecting you. Allow me to read you the pertinent passages from the opening chapter of Zozomaya's Guide. Ahem. The threat of intimacy. Ah, how magnificent the potent power we wield. Roaring flames, piercing ice, and shocking bolts are matched not by fist or sword or spear, but the burly warrior waxes fearsome with every closing step. Fists shatter bone, blades slice through flesh, spears puncture soft bellies. Know you this threat and stand you apart from such men. The last part makes me so queasy, no matter how much I recite the lesson. However, it should be obvious, keep your distance from your foes. Apart from the agony of being hit, or stabbed, or worse, you have the devil of a time completing the incantation with an enemy flailing his weapons at your person. Thus the wise Thaumaturge always strikes from afar. The farther the better. Now, let's proceed with your trial. Take this dried fish, set it down in the vicinity of the Silver Bazaar. Next, simply draw back to a comfortable distance and wait for a vulture to swoop in to feed. Once you ambush the nasty creature with a barrage of deadly spells, once you've slain the scavenger, be sure to retrieve a generous slice of vulture meat for Fafafona. He doesn't mind us conducting trials so close to his shop, so long as he's properly compensated. Yes, Blue, we pay him in sorcery blasted bird flesh. Okay. Now we just gotta get over there. I'm so glad I'm editing most of this out, like, with a strict timeline in place. So I had to double check this. In 1.0, there was a shift between, so the way that it used to be was that normally you would go into dungeons with 4 or 5 people with a maximum party size of 15. At the time, most dungeons were like how WoW used to do it, where they were open world without instances. And while that was really neat and all, they decided to pare it back to 4 because that is kind of the classic Final Fantasy number from like Final Fantasy like 1. But it has gone up to 5 and it has gone down to 3 in certain games. So it's all dependent on which one is which. But 4-player content is really fascinating because, you know, you have 1 tank, 1 healer, 1 melee, 1 ranged. And that's how that was supposed to go. But even since, like, 1.0 came out, and they restricted light parties to 4 and full parties to 8, ever since then, they've kind of People has been constantly asking, like, is there a chance of moving to 5 and 10 person with that? So we have like one tank, one DPS, and then one melee, one ranged, one caster, you know? And honestly, like, I kind of agree with that sort of point. So a light party could have one of each type. But, you know, that's just me being me and liking 5 person content more than 3 or 4 person content, you know? Because having one tank, one DPS, one support, feels like that there's a lot more weight on each part to act succinctly without too much of a difference between the groups, with only like minor differences between them. There we go. But honestly, my biggest problem with 4-person content is what I said before, where it's like, well, you have 4 light parties, and then the 2 places are taken up by every class, but then like 3 get left out at this point. And opening that up for 5-man content completely alleviates that thing, but it means that DPS are in higher need, which, knowing the player base, actually wouldn't be too much of a stretch, considering how many people I've seen exclusively play like one class. I go like, nah, I'm not gonna move over to tank just so I can get like a Q. I'm sitting here until this pops. Oh, you're done making use of my testing grounds, are you? Cough up the fee then. Here's some vulture meat. Tastes remarkably like chocobo. Nothing so tender as a bit of meat pummeled with wanton wizardry. Nice doing business with you, Thaumaturge. Did you say Thaumaturge? Has this mage completed a guild trial then? Ah, Master Alchemist. What brings you out to the bazaar this fine morning? The lady here just slew herself a plump vulture. You'd be surprised with how many of these scepter-wielding sorcerers end up sliced to ribbons by beak and talon, and that's not the sort of flesh I taste for, you understand? Ah, my brothers, not again. Ah, welcome back, Blue. Seem to have done well. Both eyes intact, face appears unshredded. It is truly most terrible feeling to have one's casting interrupted by heinous injury. It is one of the easier trials, if you ask me. Keep well away from pointy, slashy, bashy things if you want to reach the end of an arcane utterance. It is just common sense. Fortune favors the fighter who flings fire from afar. I simply love the look of loathing leveled at me from a distant duelist distressed by my deadly downpour. We Thaumaturges excel at offense, but fail miserably at defense. Most of our effective strategy is to topple our adversaries with overwhelming force before they have a chance to respond. Honors for knights and dead mages. Blue, your studies appear to have been progressing nicely. It won't be long before you dominate the battlefield as an avatar of sorcerous destruction. So it is true, Buki. Don't try to hide from me, Brigo. Or you, Bani. Or Bezzy. Or Boa. Kokabusi, what are you doing here? You promised that you would teach me next. Well, yes, of course we did, Busi, but Blue here was most insistent. Once again, you brushed me aside in the hope that I abandoned my heart's desire. Why'd you deny me? I hate all of you. Please, Boosie, don't say such hurtful things. You know how delicate Brigo is. Ahem. That was Kukubusi, our youngest brother. He so dearly wishes to become a thaumaturge like the rest of us, but it simply isn't possible. Poor boy's etheric levels are pitifully low. We thought that we had convinced him to accept fate's cruel quirks when he entered the Alchemist Guild, but he yet yearns to walk the path of thaumaturgy. Such is Kokobusi's determination that he spends all of his waking moments experimenting with alchemical concoctions, seeking a method by which he can expand his capacity for arcane manipulation. Well, this is obviously not your concern. Back to the abyss with you, young thaumaturge, and I mean that in the most encouraging manner possible. I was like, oh look, custom-made robe of casting. Am I gonna get this? No, because I already have one. There's no real need for it. It is technically the best thing I have, though. Somehow that's even... What's the one I have? Wow. This is a bone staff at level 5. I'll just get the Allegan tin piece, since I don't really need to think too hard about my armor right now, since once I hit level 15, it's gonna just take all the stuff. It's gonna take some of the... Oh wait, this is level 20. It's gonna grab some of the stuff that I still have, I think, from when I was doing, like, summoner stuff. Yeah, either way, let's just continue. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Guildmaster Kokobuki wishes you to learn from the second chapter of Thaumaturgy, the Yawning Abyss. Yes, Blue, yes. The aura, your power surrounding you is palatable. The glare begins to blind my Thaumaturge's eye. Your lesson today shall be taught by Kokobani. Go to him and hear from the chapter entitled The Threat of Paucity. I always forget what paucity means. Like, I've done this like 3 times, and I always forget. Huh, so Blue, you've come to learn at the foot of the third eldest brother, have you? I promise you, however, your education shall not be a third rate. Let me read from the second chapter, shall we? Are you settled? No last-minute trips to the privy? Very well. And again, like, if you look really, as we saw in the cutscene, if you look really carefully, each one does have a slightly different character model with slightly different mannerisms. It's actually really neat. Ah, how magnificent the ruthless power we wield. Flame devours, ice entombs, lightning courses through the stricken bodies of our foes. But oh, such desperation when the wellspring runs dry. Flame sputters out, ice melts into slush, lightning sparks no longer. Know you this threat, and mind you the limits of your mortal vessel. A terrifying thought, isn't it? A thaumaturge who has exhausted her arcane reserves is not but a woman with a stick and a funny hat. For we mages, you may as well equate the etheric energy flowing through our veins with our very lifeblood. Should a battle find us lacking in this precious resource, we are as good as dead. Controlling the expenditure of your power requires an understanding of etheric balance. The scales can tip in one of 2 directions, astrally or umbrally. When when your mind and spirit leans to an umbral direction, your thaumaturgy is affected by a state known as umbral ice. The potency of your spells is diminished, but they also require less energy to invoke. On the other hand, a thaumaturge in the astral fire state will find the potency of her incantations enhanced, but at a greater cost to her etheric stamina. Now, with the concepts of etheric balance and efficient casting foremost in your mind, I bid you go forth and slay. 8 Fs. Pray you best that you stay alive. It reflects badly on me when the mauled corpse of one of my pupils is returned to the ossuary. Okay. Also, it's really fascinating how the concept of astral and umbral alignments, like, kind of gets glossed over here, but then eventually just comes back in great force later when people try to explain certain aspects of the world at large. It's actually quite fascinating with several of the things that you'll learn. Like, if we were to pop open our inventory, I've shown this several times where it's like you have one shard for each element. Effectively, the way that magic works is that if you have something that is umbral, it requires less energy, but also it's less powerful but more supportive, and astral is more powerful but more draining. So effectively, think of it like a battery where astral is the negative side, and astral is the positive side. So one no wait, isn't it the other way where the negative side is the one that is where it is the output, is the input? Yeah. Astral is the negative side of the battery, which is the input, and then the umbral is the positive side, which is the output. I believe that's how that works. I could be completely wrong. I'm kind of running low on energy right now because I haven't eaten yet, and I'm still deciding on whether or not I want to go out and get a slice of pizza right now, or actually make food for once. Okay, we're almost at level 15, so I'm gonna start this quest up, the level 10 quest. Oh wait, no, we're turning this in. What am I talking about? Ah, you arrived before me, upright and breathing. Wonderful. It's much simpler to pose questions to a student without having to resort to necromantic divination. Tell me, Blue, what actions would you take to find your thaumaturgical endurance exhausted in the midst of battle? Flee, probably. A home was practical indeed. A discreet withdrawal to await to replenish your energies and is a sound strategy. But should there be nowhere left to run, a vial of ether can be your stoutest ally. Ah, ether, the draw of the gods. We thaumaturges, indeed any who practice the arts of arcane manipulation, value the substance above all others. Thus, it was with unbridled fury that we received the most recent report of beastman activity. Seems the Amalja raiding party has attacked a caravan of trade routes and made off with an entire crate of precious ether. The time has come for you to put your new knowledge to the test. Annihilate these Amalja bandits and retrieve the cargo of ether-filled vials. according to the report, their armored war transport was last spotted to the south of Drybone. And I believe Kokobuki has an additional quest. While you're busy incinerating the Amalja, be sure to collect some samples of their blood, assuming that you can draw any from their smoking remains. Okay, now I'm level 15. Now I can show this off. So I crafted several things, but you'll also notice that I'm de-equipping stuff on my head. The reason for that is that several things in A Realm Reborn take up multiple gear slots. They really they stopped doing that except for like event items, but this cowl, which is equipped to both the head and the chest, also has both of the materia slots for the head and the chest, which is neat, and it does give you like this sorcerer's cloak type of thing, but at the same time it's kind of disappointing because it means that on your glamour plates you can't assign anything to the headpiece. So they eventually got to the point where they're like, nah, we want people to actually have like stuff for their head and all that kind of thing. So they stopped doing that. I'm gonna make it for the paladin. Yeah, for my gladiator, but in armor right now. Probably shouldn't have switched to that. This heavy iron armor is a chest piece that equips to the head, and these heavy iron flanchards are a leg piece that equips to the feet. Meaning that the only thing that was so it's kind of neat, you know. But I think the biggest issue that people had with it is that really it forced things to be on multiple slots, and I totally understand why he stopped doing that. Okay, armored war transport. As you can tell, I'm still getting used to my my current control scheme right now. I'm not used to having Scathe on 1. The reason for that is that Scathe is an instant cast speed thing, so having it be on 1 is really useful. Yeah, have my instant castings on 1, since it's the quote-unquote the first button, and then you have Transpose and Mana Ward being next to it on tilde and Q, because they're utility stuff, and then have most of our moveset be 2 through 5, going up the ranks, as it were. You know, it's relatively simple to understand. My biggest problem is that I don't have this set onto my normal character right now. So I've been going back and forth of like, do I want to shift my full character to this? And I probably will after I'm done recording for the day. Okay, that took a bit longer than I expected. I just realized that I've been like kind of quiet a little bit because I moved my mic. Okay, that took longer than I expected. Do I detect the scent of ether? I trust the stench of and I trust that stench of the Amalja's blood. Here's the crate of ether. You could have just asked me to make it. I have like 50 sitting in my pocket. And the Amalja blood. So dark a red it almost appears black. Copious amounts of packing hay. Neat. Ooh, 10 vials, 20, 30. This side is so much ether, it's just so very comforting. What have we here, Kokobani? Is that a crate? Was that the crate that was stolen? I see Blue's lessons have had the desired effect. I'll assume the vial, viscous liquid you have there is the Beastman blood. Kokobushi should be pleased. Kokobuki, you left word for me to visit the ossuary. Have you finally decided to begin my training in thaumaturgy? Ah, Kokobushi, good for you to come. Blue here was kind enough to obtain a supply of Amalja blood for you. An alchemist acquaintance of mine explained how you have been using the substance in your research to create a mana-amplifying elixir. Naturally, we were most interested in the results of such experiments, so... You see, Busi, your work as an alchemist is already putting you in a position to work alongside us. You need become a thaumaturge to be part of our family. That's right, Busi. Besides, the battlefield's a dangerous place, and our skills aren't exactly suited to keeping others safe from harm. I see, but this is but another attempt to dissuade me from pursuing my true calling. I do not want to cheer you from the safety of my workbench. I want to fight alongside you. Busi, you cannot just stand... I cannot stand the thought of you being harmed. Pray, do not do anything foolish. I do apologize, brother. Sometimes I forget how difficult it must be not having natural aptitude for the arcane arts. As I mentioned before, Blue, Kokobushi is dangerously unsuited for the wielding of thaumaturgy. Even with the proper training, he would be unable to cast magics as we can. Were he to attempt to force a manifestation of power, the strain on his etheric reserves would likely kill him. But let's not dwell on this unpleasant circumstance. For you, on the other hand, are brimming with thaumaturgic potential. Remain diligent in your studies and do not cease in your efforts to expand your wellspring of power. Okay, we got another scepter. I think I wanted... Oh right, if I were to actually get the hat, it wouldn't do anything. Right. Oh, I should probably grab the gloves. What was I thinking? Oh wait, no, this is... Yeah, these are the cotton gloves. Okay. Just repair these really quickly. Okay, now level 15. Guildmaster Kokobuki urges you even deeper into the yawning abyss of thaumaturgy. Come, Blue, the yawning abyss beckons once more. Today, Kokobezi will instruct you on the chapter entitled Threat of Superiority. Are you come for a lesson, Blue? Then heed my words well. The threat of superiority. Ah, how magnificent the imitating power we wield. Flames sear the air, ice frosts the ground, lightning flashes with blinding incandescence. But not all are cowed by our elemental fury. Ignite not your flames, summon not your ice, and strike not your lightning. Know you this threat, and stay your hand against such foes. Once you cut away from the overblown imagery, the passage draws attention to the important tactic. A wise thaumaturge does not engage in battle against the opponents she cannot defeat. A fine example would be avoiding conflict with Amalja's multitude of fierce merchants. These soulless, ravenous creatures are afflicted with the madness of insatiable avarice. Do you perhaps recall the crate of ether you retrieved from the Amalja bandits? Well, a number of irate peddlers have arrived at the guild with the gall to demand a recompense for the few measly vials that we emptied as our just reward. Alright, yes, we drank the entire bloody box, but the point is that the guild cannot presently afford to pay such a sum. Thus, I pass on the secret of my last most potent defense. Shameless weeping. I'm not speaking a few tears here. I want you to stride up to these tyrannical traitors and cry your eyes out. Okay. Cry. There we go. I forgot these guys were right here. You weep in sorrow before the raging merchant. Alright, miss. I know you're the one who chased down those Amalja brutes for us. I'll let this go one time for your sake. Gosh, we have to cry to each one of them individually. At least they're all right here and we don't have to run around. Well, you needn't cry about a few vials of ether last. I'll tell you what. Dry your eyes from me, and I'll take care of the loss of my own purse. By the way, I should have actually talked to them to read their dialogue, but it's not that. Oh dear, I'm not angry at you. You understand? It's those 5 either addled brothers I take issue with. You tell them the next time this happens, I'll have the price taken out of their unprincipled hides. Yee. Bird landed. Okay. Man, this is one of the most easy tasks we've ever had. It's not. It's not complete yet. A masterful performance, Blue. The sniffling was a nice touch. You will, however, encounter foes who are unmoved by such piteous wailings. Take this recent request, for instance, which I have nominated to serve as your next trial. A team of scholars has asked the Thaumaturge to destroy a cursed relic they unearthed, known as Mormo's Urn. While pottery is, by and large, immune to tears, is the Alacran thieves that subsequently stole it that concern me. The Alacran are an organization of criminals not normally known for their gentle or understanding dispositions. Rather than attempting to engage an entire gang of their thugs, I would suggest that you neutralize the threat to your person with a well-timed sleep spell. The Alacran that have been seen traveling in the southeast of Drybone, find them and destroy the urn they carry. I've been wasting so much gil on just teleporting forward and back from Drybone, jeez. And no, it's I lost like 2,000 gil from other things, not actually from that. I literally sat down and I bought like 9 materia to use because each one is like 1,000 gil because everyone's like overpricing them because of course they are. I'm gonna just sell all those. Just so I can like put some materia into the stuff I have right now. There we go. Proceed. The diligence of the Alacran. I do like how this basically constitutes as a stealth quest. It's really funny. Okay, it's not down there. Then it's gonna be up here. No. There's some weird stuff going on with the targeting of that right there. What? Okay, no, this is not fair. This is not fair. At all, how dare you. My gosh, of course I'm poisoned as well. And because it's the ability, I can't actually, like... Oh my gosh. Am I seriously... So that's the first time I've died, and it's literally because... It's because the two characters got way too close to each other. That's annoying. Yeah. So I'm still gonna try to do all of them on normal, but, why are you positioned like that now? That's weird. Oh my gosh. Oh. I guess it was an AoE between them. Puts all nearby enemies to sleep. I did not actually know that. Huh. I could have actually probably gotten out of that then. Blue for a moment, if you please. Pray allow me to shatter that urn. I thought that if I assisted with your task, then my brothers might finally deign to take me seriously. So I followed you. Oh, so you saw me die? Yeah, don't worry about that. What have you got there? A couple of nosy sand rabbits are about to get skinned. Oh dear gods, where'd they come from? Okay, first we gotta take out the healer. Yeah, I'm probably going to skip all that because it was long, boring, and kind of tedious. That was simply incredible, Blue. I wish I could wield the same sort of power. I became an alchemist in the hopes of creating some manner of mana-amplifying elixir, but all my efforts have been for naught. The results have been far too mild to make any difference. I'll never be a Thaumaturge like my brothers at this rate. I'll forever be the pitiful, powerless little sibling. Mormo's urn. If I destroy it, then maybe my family will see what I'm capable of. Wait, don't you dare break my urn. What? Did a piece of pottery talk? Are you Mormo the Void Sent? Well, yes I am Mormo, but I'm one of the nice Void Sent. It was nasty ones that sealed me up in here for helping a mortal. If you could be so kind as to open the lid of my urn, I would be happy to grant you a wish. Anything you desire. Fortune? Fame? I'm not really interested in fame or fortune, but perhaps one other thing. I would like to have etheric power to equal that of my brothers. Power it is. It's a perfectly acceptable wish. In fact, I sense the latent ability buried deep within your spirit. It will be a simple thing just to turn it loose. But what more is there to think about? Open the lid. Yeah, that's me going, wait, what are you doing? Huh. I don't feel different at all. I think Morma may have been lying. Come, Blue. It's time we were leaving. Oh, and we're supposed to break this urn? Yep, that's that. This will be much fun. I mean, you know, it'll be nice to return home after all this excitement. I like how my character's like, yeah, I'm not buying it. Welcome back, Blue. I see... I'm glad to see you making a habit out of not dying. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for the vote of confidence. Before we discuss your trial further, however, I would ask you about Kukabusi. When I saw him a few moments ago, he seemed odd. Well, odder than usual. Would you happen to know what odd of it? Kukabusi ended up joining me at my trial. Busi was at your trial? It is extraordinarily dangerous and foolish to intervene with a Thaumaturge's training. Shall have to scold him most heartily. As such unpleasantness aside, I'm surprised that you claimed victory in spite of this unexpected development. Teachings of the Yawning Abyss have served you well. With your experience and control thus demonstrated, I believe that you are ready to add a new spell to your repertoire, Scathe. This elementally neutral blast will force will prove effective against all manner of opponents. As I am sure you are eager to test this incantation's efficacy, I shall grant you leave to return to your training. I pity the next hostile creature that crosses your path. Look, two things we already have. Better gloves or better boots? How about more money so I can actually make those things myself? You see, like, at the beginning we needed those items so we can, so we could even remotely have a chance against, certain things, or so we can craft better. But now we're at a point where it's not even really important or worth it to kind of hold on to them. We get rid of... Okay, we got rid of the, yeah. Okay, there we go. And I ended up using up all of the, materia on the other things. We're just gonna have to wait for us to get more. Oh, well. Well, that's 2 down. Now we can basically head off to... we might as well head off to Limsa Lamensa next, because that's... because there's only one for us to get there right now, because... Rogue we're not going to be able to get until the patch quests, and Marauder... So Marauder is the only one over there right now. I think I mentioned this before, but as the game basically goes on, you start noticing that there are very distinct Final Fantasy, like, you know, like classic Final Fantasy character designs. I think one of the reasons why Final Fantasy translated so well to an MMO is that you could basically make whatever character you want, and they still look like that they are designed to be a Final Fantasy character. And I don't know, I feel like that's a really cool thing. Like, we ended up going with the like hooded thing for like our Black Mage, and yeah. And Thaumaturge right now is kind of plain looking. But eventually we start getting some stuff that looks really, like, Black Mage focused for our Thaumaturge. And, like, the starting gear, like, this, like, opening, like, dungeon gear is so cool looking for Summoner. Like, I am Not sure who on the design teams looked at this and said, yep, that's a summoner. Like, the book even, like, sits on the belt correctly. It's so good. Okay, so we're here in the Marauders Guild. Oh there, adventurer. Curious about the Marauders Guild, are we? Any axe worth wielding needs 2 hands and a half and has a blade that can chop clean through a galley's mast. But what kind of weapon are members trained to use with deceptive swiftness and brutal force? If you're a mind to make the Marauders your life work, then our guild welcomes you with open arms. What say you, lass? Keen to join the ranks? Oh, my phone just telling me that it's refuses the charge anymore until it's cooled down. Probably gonna just take it off the charger then. Well then, here's a bit of guild history if you need to know what you're getting into. It all started with ships, you see. What ships have got to do with axes, you ask? Well, building them would be pretty difficult without a sturdy tool to lop down trees and for timber. And since only the navigator herself knows when a ship will run afoul of storm or worse, it makes sense for the crew's carpenter to carry an axe on board. But any tool on a ship can become a weapon, and the axe is perfect for hooking yourself over the rail of an enemy vessel, laying loose in a whirlwind of steel, and generally laying waste to all about you. As for more seafarers took up the axe as their weapon of choice, so did the bloody art of the Marauder to begin to take shape, especially among pirates, where strength and skill decide your place in the world. With an eye to assembling crews and battle-ready raiders, the pirates started teaching the proper way to wield a chopping blade to their newer recruits, and that's how the Marauders Guild first came to be. After the Gladian Accord was signed, though, the Marauders Guild was never the same. It was taken over, reconstructed, and purged of its pirate elements. It had been reborn as an institution dedicated to naught but the teaching of axe fighting. The members of this Marauders Guild weren't no greed-driven cutthroats either. They were warriors that sought to use their martial prowess for the good of all society. Still keen, are you? Think it over and let me know if you decide to join our ranks. Decided then. Ready to join? Alright then. All that needs doing now is to speak with the Act Master himself. Sounds simple? I've seen folks slink out the door rather than put themselves on a path of unnerving glare. That's the bloke right there in the middle of the room. Wisern's his name. Why put steel in your spine and put some steel in your spine and look him straight in the eye when you talk to him, lass. Good fortune to you. Yes, I'm Wisern. Axe Master, they call me. I'm not the most imaginative of titles, I agree, but one would not underestimate the value of directness. I welcome your interest in our guild. The art of the Marauder is used to rend, to cleave, and to destroy. It is not our way to simply outfight our adversaries. We seek to overwhelm them. A Marauder must be the most powerful and enduring presence on the battlefield. We must account for the most enemies defeated. Our role in combat is that of a steel whirlwind, dealing death and destruction without equal. No doubt the question has already been put to you by Blothoya, but once more I shall challenge your commitment. You are prepared for the bloody carnage that awaits the initiate of the Marauders Guild? Very well. Your name? Attend me well, Blue. Hold fast for this moment of dedication. The path of the Marauders is a jagged and perilous one. The blood that spills at your feet will oftentimes be your own. I present you with this axe, a symbol of your commitment. Your first lesson will be how to hold it. Now grip the haft in both hands, set yourself a solid stance. And then he's gonna ask me to kill three vermin just outside the door, right? Oh man, I just like looked over and I saw that there was like 7 clips that I all need to basically put into one place and then remind myself only take out the stuff for the next episode. Man, that's gonna be so annoying to sort. You cut a striking figure, Blue, but heroic posing is unlikely to cut a swath to your enemies. You haven't watched anime. You stand now as a student of the axe. Let us waste no time in testing the edge of your chosen weapon. You shall wade straight away in the combat as befits a novice of our discipline. Go forth and slay the 3 things that are staying outside. Yep, okay. So, since I'm over here just, like, grabbing, like, the rest of the things in my hunting log, I might as well kind of explain one of the interesting things about, Marauder right now. So you may have kind of noticed that the setup is actually kind of the same as Paladin right now, where effectively we have a three-string combo, and then we have a 4th addition to it that we get at 50. Except for on Paladin, we have a extra AoE attack. We have a buff, and we have defensive things, one of which will reduce the damage taken by a lot. Is that one also 30? That one is also 30. With a potency of 55 every time you suffer physical damage. Yeah. It's pretty interesting. But as you'll kind of notice, a lot of the things about Warrior is about pure damage. So Warrior is more about taking a bunch of damage and putting down a bunch of damage, while Paladin is more about playing defensively. Like, you're gonna have a lot more utility, you're gonna have a lot more, like, rounding up enemies type stuff. And I honestly think that that's the interesting dichotomy, is that Paladin is the type of tank that you want for a lot of enemies, effectively. And then Warrior is the one that you want for a single target that's not going to just drop a bunch of damage on you. Rarely have I ever died as a Paladin. There have been times in which I've been really close to dying as Warrior while I was leveling up on my main character. But I think the one thing that I will say about Warrior that makes it worth it, for some people, is that you have a lot of self-sustaining things that are just baked into your rotations. A Paladin has to wait pretty long for it to get some stuff. And I think that's gonna be kind of like your make or break when it comes to this class. Is that you're gonna get a lot of stuff for both of them. It's all about what you get sooner, you know? Okay, now with all that done, I can kind of explain what goes on with this class. So, again, Paladin is about defense, both on you and your allies. Warrior is about making sure that you personally do not die. It's an interesting dichotomy. It's how I would put a quote-unquote shielding tank and a body tank. You know, very simple. A body tank takes a lot of damage and they have self-sustaining ability. Self-sustaining abilities. Shield tanks have the same kind of thing going on, but the downside of them not having as much sustainability for themselves is they're able to throw that onto other people, which is really beneficial in a lot of scenarios. Like, there have been times in which I have found out that an ability on Paladin, I could have thrown onto our healer so they didn't die, and we could have saved, like, a lot of heartache for the actual, like, battle we were doing. You've returned, but there's still much training to be done before you wield an axe to its fullest potential. Learn well your lessons, build your strength, and make of each swing an instinctive act. Every blow of your weapon will clear more steps towards the mastery of the Marauder way. Implacable, relentless, such must be your momentum on both the practice grounds and the battlefield. Complete. Okay. We already have one of those, so we don't need to get it. We're wearing this, we're wearing this, we're wearing this. Yeah, we'll just get the chin piece, I guess. Axemaster Wormzoan. Zoan wishes you to experience a traditional Marauder training method. Blue, you approach me with the Marauder strides, determined, unswerving, and bereft of hesitation that marked our first meeting. I am pleased the time has come for you to begin a new stage in your training. Now, what sets the axe aside from the gladius or dagger? It's the raw, unstoppable destruction wrought by its thick, heavy blade. And that overwhelming power can only be properly directed by extraordinary physical strength. Thus, we've come to the core of today's lessons. Such strength as a Marauder must possess is developed through a traditional method passed down through the generations of the guild, a method that you too shall be taught to employ. Present yourself to Broendbhar. I keep wanting to put an extra H in there. Broendbhar in the practice area downstairs, and he shall instruct you further. Okay. You know, there was actually a question that was posed to someone playing through this game, which is, are there racial stats in this game? And when they were told no, they were really confused by it because, you know, if I remember correctly, it's if you are making a priest in World of Warcraft, it is actually better for you to be undead. If you're like a wizard, it's either like a gnome or an elf, and I can't remember which one is which. But it's like, oh, I'm playing a tanky warrior. Well, you better be an orc. And you know, it's that sort of thing where it's like, do I need the focus on one certain class to go forward? And as I've kind of shown with the way that I played this game, that's not really a thing in this, where you could just play everything and not really matter. There used to be stuff like that, but it made people want to optimize their way through the game, and every tiny little bit of that has really been kind of uh, not not so much removed, but diminished to the point where it doesn't matter. Like, oh yes, I get a +3 to this because I picked a different deity. Like, that's just insane. That it's like, yeah, it's still there, but it's not. It's not going to do anything. The Axemaster told me you'd be on your way. My name's Broendbahar. Broendbahar. Good it is to see a new Marauder. Now, we axe wielders build strength and control by splitting boulders. That's right, our traditional method involves smashing a rock with your axe. But you can't just swing, can't just use any old swing. Gotta hit a rock just so. Rahotgiam, a fellow Marauder, is waiting just outside the Zephyr Gate, by the bridge over by Rogue River. She'll tell you how it's done. Hey, some Yellow Jackets are practicing with the double-barreled, I believe they're called musketoons. I forget what their actual name was. We're gonna get into it when we finally, like, unlock the machinist class. But originally we were supposed to be able to use those, but for all of A Realm Reborn and yeah, for A Realm Reborn and the original 1.0 release, you basically got nothing when it comes to firearms. It was rather interesting, you know? So just think about this. They had, because there wasn't, I think what happened is that they were going to implement it, but then they held back onto it because they didn't want to release a brand new class while A Realm Reborn was being made. No, not that one. And so they basically held off on it. They reworked Astrologian. Instead of using a staff with a bladder on the top of it for, like, alchemical stuff. Like, mixing alchemical stuff inside of it. Instead, you had tomes, which were a lot easier to design for. I meant to say Arcanist. This is what the weapon looks like. Because the weirder the weapon, the less likely they are to innovate on the design. It's why canes for Conjurer and staffs for Black Mage eventually just started looking exactly the same, just with a slight color tweak. There was basically no difference between a cane and a staff, effectively. Greetings, lass. Ready to split some stone, are you? Well, I've got 3 nice hard rocks for you. Build up a sweat on. Don't try anything fancy now. Just hit him with a good, solid, heavy swing. That's the way to do it, lass. Now you've got the idea. Why don't you have at him with a little harder than a heavy swing of yours? Hold nothing back. I could see you're a natural. My head's ringing with the sound of cracking boulders. Take yourself to the Axemaster Weird Zone. Yeah. Weird Zone. And let him know that you're ready for something harder. Has the training loosened your muscles and focused your mind, Blue? An urgent request for help has arrived from the Red Rooster Stead. I have chosen you to respond. It appears a hostile group of megalocrabs have unwittingly elected itself the next test of your prowess. As this is your first outing on official Marauder duty, you shall be accompanied by a veteran conjurer by the name of Sulkwib. She awaits you on the floor below. May devastation follow in your wake. I wonder if you could actually get, like, the Yellow Jacket uniform. Because I know that these are the altered boots. And then these are just gray pants. And I forget which gloves those are. I believe those are leather gloves. And then, clearly, the iron helmet. But, like, wait, are we actually wearing No, we're not wearing the same boots as them. Oh well. I wonder what their actual, like, chess piece is. I could probably look that up. Like, there's probably, like, an encyclopedia of... This is what every NPC wears, you know? I, Blue, I know who you are. My brother often has me escorting his fledgling marauders on their more dangerous task. I suppose Zone expects me to give you the details then. Very well. It seems the farmers need us to clear out a megalocrab nest near the Mourning Widow in Lower Lenosia. I shall trust you to find your own way there, just don't forget your axe. I like how they want us to clear out some megalocrabs, but not cane toads. Like, I get the fact that the yellow jackets are already here, so that they're already on the duty to take care of the toads, but like, geez, there's a lot of toads over here. Although it would be really funny to see this megalocrab just spawn here and then get tongue pulled by like 5 different toads in succession. Looks as if no one's home. Perhaps they knew we were coming? Aid! I need aid! Oh, please, it's my grandson. The Nipper's got him. I told Sigurd not to get too close. Get that weapon ready, Blue. We need to move now. Also, just notice that we're both wearing eye patches. That was, totally not intended. I actually completely forgot that she wears that she wears an eye patch. Oh, bugger and shite, get away from me, you bloody great bastard. Oh gosh. Okay, someone's over there. Some of these bastards are hitting harder than the damn boulders. I was just hitting everything. Okay. We did that well. Oh, thank you, miss. I thought I was dead for sure. I can't even play outside no more. Well, with all those scary monsters about. Me mom and me dad, they were both killed by some nasty bugger not too long ago. Those aurochs big as a mountain. But I bet you could beat it. And hey, make it pay for what it did to me folk. You take it easy now, son. There's a whole guild full of strapping lads and lasses like Blue here who will gladly just do that. All you need to do right now is head home with your grandpa and let us worry about that big nasty bugger. Consider your first duty a success, Blue. It's time you headed back as well before Warzone begins to worry we've left your corpse for the crabs. So, you have shattered the shells of the megalocrabs and saved the life of a child into the bargain. Thus does the violent craft prove its merit. Well done, Blue. Though no longer a threat to the farmers, you should note that it's unusual for such crabs to be found so near the stead. By all accounts, the creatures were ousted from their usual feeding grounds by some more fierce beast. The beast of which I speak of is a known terror in the lands of Lenosia, ever seeking to expand its territory. and that boy's parents were but two of the many victims that fall to his rampages. It is a threat that must be dealt with ere long. Do thoughts of vengeance fit through your mind, Blue? Nurture those urges, but do not yet act upon them. This monstrosity is far beyond your present skills. If you were to answer the lad's cry for revenge, then you must grow stronger. Become the raging behemoth this challenge demands. Money? Sure, why not? Yeah, this ticked over. I've done none. Not even like the crafting and gathering stuff, of course. Blue, I have gathered what information I could concerning the beast that young Sigurd bade you to slay. The tales named this creature Kujata. Those who have witnessed Kujata in the terrifying flesh also call him the Stampeding Mountain, such of his immense size and bulk. Again, I will not seek to dissuade you from claiming vengeance for the boy's parents. In fact, I encourage it. But to topple this lumbering colossus, you must first become his equal in strength of ferocity. As a single step towards that distant goal, I send you to the Blind Iron Mines. We have word that folk are falling prey to the claws of the local Galagos. It is your task to protect the weak from those unruly creatures. Learn to channel the rage inside of you and let the axe blade swing in righteous slaughter. It looks like we've just got to kill 3 and, like, head back, so that's gotta be pretty easy. Okay, back. Welcome back, Blue. Your actions have saved many from the needless injury and anguish. But, though your actions are to be commended, there is still much work to be done. Kujata, the object of your vengeance, has trampled a farmer's wagon and has thundered through the lands of Tiller's Rest. The foodstuffs spilled through the overturned wain have attracted all manner of hungry predators. Without produce in the market, the farmers will surely suffer for coin this season. Your duty is thus clear. Put down these rapacious scavengers and preserve the cargo. Unironically, I do kind of like how, now, this isn't the, okay, so I think I may have mentioned it once, but the Marauders Guild and the Gladiators Guild, you know, by virtue of both of them being tanks, tanking classes, eventually just come off as, congratulations, you have signed up to be the police. Go do police things. And considering that both of them make up the majority of the defensive element of their area, it makes sense that that the Archers Guild feels the exact same way, but the Archers Guild has a different vibe to it. We'll get to it in a bit, but so don't worry, I'll explain it when we get there. I don't see an... Oh, there it is. It wasn't loading in for some reason. I can see the purple smoke, but nothing else. Okay, let's see what we have here. A Plain Strider. It's a type of raptor. The raptors breathe fire, if you didn't know. Easy as pie. Okay, let's head back. Once again, your capacity for carnage has been tested and proven. The creatures you defeated, however, were merely some of the many base scavengers that subsist on the scraps left in the wake of Kujata's rampages. To face Kujata himself, you yet require far more training, but do not despair, Blue. As Axe Master and fellow Marauder, this I swear. I will not rest until I have taught you how to wring every last ounce of power from your weapon, till the blade of your axe can slice cleanly through the thickest hide, the most knotted muscle, the densest bone, This menace will fall by your hand. Let's go with chess piece. Yes? Yes. Okay, level 12. We got, like, some leather. We got a Galago mint, so we could mix some more, mint lassie with that. But, like, probably what I want to do is... I'm gonna quickly get it up to level 15 so we can do the next quest line. But I'm probably also... Never mind. I was gonna say, I probably will, also get some, like, new armor for us. Nah, we just grabbed all the stuff from, Monk. Because why not? And... there we go. Now I have all that stuff. Oh, we have a cloud axe. We can actually make the superior cloud axe. What was it called again? Recipes using this item. Oh, was it the cloud axe? Huh. Oh, okay, so you use the Bronze War Axe to make the Cloud Axe. Okay, that makes sense. So I'm gonna just set this right here, make a Bronze Axe, and also make some, level 10... 12? I guess I'll make level 12, tanking gear. While I get the rest of my hunting log. As is tradition, I will... Oh, did I not get the last two on this one? Which one is it? Oh, of course, it's, the running corpse and the boggy. I got everything else up there, I just need to do that really quickly. But yeah, I'll just fill up the rest of the hunting log and then come back when I'm level 15. So, while I'm waiting for things to render out, I guess I'm going to, just start up on the, Archers and Lancers guilds, so I can shove those into the same episode. Like, where are we at right now? Like, 1, 2, 3? Yeah, 3 right now. Yeah, they're not going to be as long. Hopefully, I should be able to get all 5 of those classes into all 5 of the classes into, like, a 2.5 hour video, but, like, who knows? Greeting adventurer, welcome to the Archers Guild. It is here that archers of the realm over gather to master the bow. We engage the enemy from a distance, ever seeking to alter the course of battle with a single well-placed arrow. If you have a mind to become an archer, then you have come to the right place. Do you wish to join our ranks? Marvelous. Then allow me to enlighten you on the history of both our art and guild. The bow is an ancient tool. It's existed since before our fair nation came into being. As an implement of war and hunting both, it protects us from our enemies even as it keeps us fed and clothed. Archery, as practiced in Gordania, was born of 2 distinct styles of bowmanship. First was devised by the longbow sentries of the Elizin, who once ruled the lowlands, while the second belonged to the short bow hunters of the formerly nomadic Makote. As you will doubtless be aware, both races ultimately came to call the 12's Wood home. Though the two people began as rivals, they gradually learned to live together in harmony. During this time, they learned from one another their 2 schools of archery, intermingling and giving birth to the art as is known today. But this wouldn't be possible were it not for the Trappers League. The guild was established in order to promote sustainable hunting in cooperation within the hunting fraternity at large. As a happy coincidence of this union, the guild's members came to engage in friendly contests of skill. Inspired by such competitions, a handful of their number began to focus on perfection as opposed to mere practicality, transforming a skill into what may be termed as art. These individuals would go to form a guild of their own. The Archers Guild, where men and women gather to attain mastery over the bow. More than a few members of the God's Quiver loosed their first arrow within these very halls. And that, my friend, is a brief history of archery in Gridania. Doubtless you are more eager than ever to take up the bow. It would be my pleasure to recommend you to our guildmaster. You must receive her permission if you were to join us. If you would excuse me for a moment, I shall see to it that the relevant lists are amended. Pray speak with me again in a short while. Has it now been a short while? The look in your eye bespeaks your determination. It would be my pleasure to refer you to the Guildmaster Lusain. Lest you worry unduly, Lusain is an affable and kind-hearted woman, even though those not in the guild would have been known to seek her counsel on various matters, and ever have they been given fair hearing. Lusain awaits you in the training area yonder. Present yourself before her and impress upon her the desire to join the guild. Okay. Greetings, adventurer. I am told that you wish to join our ranks. I am Lusain, the master of the Archers Guild. I bid you welcome. Our doors are open to all those who have the will to learn. Allow me to explain the basics of our art and offer you a foretaste of that which we teach the members of our guild. The bow's greatest advantage is range. Unlike those arms used in other disciplines of war, it allows one to strike at the enemy from afar. Though the bow may not boast the destructive force of a sword or spear, its myriad strategic applications more than compensate for its shortcoming. An expected archer can immobilize an enemy by striking a leg or sap its strength with a poisoned arrow. Rise to become a virtuoso of archery, and a veritable deluge of death will be yours to rain down upon your foes. By fighting from a distance, we can better assess the battlefield and thereby determine the most advantageous course of action. This is of paramount import, as our role in battle is to exploit the enemy's weakness. With the requisite placement and timing, but a single arrow may serve to turn the tide. To this end, the guild seeks to instill a discerning eye within its members, that they might learn to strike at vulnerabilities swiftly and surely. Now, any halfwit can bend the bow, but it is no simple undertaking to become a skilled archer. You must be prepared for a long and arduous journey. Are you resolved to complete that journey? That is well. From this moment forth, you may consider yourself one of our number. Now, lend me your hunting log, if you would. I shall add it to the names of such creatures that will provide a fitting challenge to an archer. And to help you on your way, I bestow upon you this short bow. Arm yourself with your new weapon and speak to me again. I would have you undertake a trial to gauge your fitness to join the guild. Okay, there we go. So, you may be wondering, why did I choose a Makote for my starting character? So, one of the reasons I actually, came to the decision of using the Makote at all is, oddly enough, this quest line. It may not seem like it, but because of a lot of things in this questline, I actually wanted to run this as a Makote because it is rather interesting. Ah yes, the bow becomes you, Blue. Now, before proceeding any further, I must needs gauge your innate aptitude with archery. To this end, I hereby assign you the following trial. Slay the squirrels, ladybugs, the three enemies in the forest, yeah. It goes without saying that you must do so with your bow. Report back when the task is accomplished. Now go, Blue, and earn your place in these halls. Okay, got it. Oh, I should actually probably explain how Archer works. Because it's our only ranged DPS character right now, we need to actually, like, show this off. So, one of the interesting things is that we have very little cast times. So we could just basically launch out a thing while still moving, which a lot of other classes don't really have that. So, basically, we get to basically run around and not do much. But the downside to that is that we don't have a real rotation. We have a bunch of buttons that do things all together. Like, for instance, straight shot that we just unlocked right now. We have to wait for it to randomly roll into it at like a... And then we get a higher damaging attack. Eventually we get Bloodletter, which is an ability that is instant cast. Well, everything is instant cast, but it is... But we can use that outside of the normal items that cool down, you see? And it's very simple. It's a bunch of buttons that we have to wait to come back, and when they come back, you use them. You know, it's a rather simple method, but it's not for everyone. Some people kind of feel that it's a little bit weird because you're mostly just sitting in the back, not really doing too much damage, but I kind of like it. I like ranged DPS. I just don't play many of them. Okay, so after a little bit of running around and doing whatever, and a little bit of crafting, I might as well kind of explain a function of this game that is effectively dead. There is a system in this game that is relatively useless. And it's still really funny that it's in the game, but the reason why it's still in the game is because if you are, for some reason, after over 10 years of not touching this game, still a 1.0 player who still has his inventory from the old servers and want to come over, they have to still supply all of the items and ways to get those items. So after a bit of running around, leveling up, and doing a little bit of crafting, I completely forgot about this stuff. Oh, whoops. So let's just say you're in the middle of battle and you want to throw a potion onto stuff. Like, you can't even really, oh wait, it's because I already used my potion. Like, look at this. See, now it's blind. That's about it. And, again, like, I think, I could be wrong, but I believe what used to happen is that part of you being an archer and of and ranged DPS is that you used to be able to basically use that on your stuff. And I'm remembering this from somewhere, but I can't remember from where. But what would happen is that as a archer, you needed to use those potions to coat your weapons for you to do maximum amounts of damage. And they don't really work anymore, and they're not really that useful. And the only reason why they still exist is because if you're a person who is pulling your inventory from 1.0, yes, even nowadays, like, there are still people who are pulling their data from 1.0. There are still going to be people that want to grab their old information and start making a new character, so they have to include 1.0 things. That includes belts, which are no longer around. that includes shields for White Mage and Black Mage, but like they phase those out with like Heaven's Word. Like a bunch of things are just still in the game, but with relatively like no reason for them to still exist, other than that if a 1.0 player were to bring their data over, it must still have an item that could be brought over, or else their game would crash. It is relatively interesting, but at the end of the day, like, it's still really awkward to kind of see some old stuff that's still in there, you know? Well, anyway, we might as well turn in our quest now that we have maxed out our first rank of that. Welcome back. It would seem that you have successfully completed the trial. You have proven yourself worthy of a place within these halls. It is with pleasure that I name you the archer, an archer of the guild. As fellows on the path, let us together strive for greater mastery of our art. Though now you may be a member of the Archers Guild, know that your seniors will not coddle you with personal attention. It is up to you to seek out the experiences you need to go stronger as an archer. Oh, by the way of a first step, I encourage you to practice proper technique. Loose arrow after arrow, paying close attention to form until movement becomes second nature. When drawing your bowstring has become natural to you as drawing breath, and the world seems clearer when viewed down the shaft of an arrow, return to me. Go well, my young apprentice. The next archer quest will be available from Lucane upon reaching level 5. You know, I've always wondered if they were going to do a thing. Speaking of 1.0 things, I wonder if they would ever do a thing where they're just like, yeah, every item that you every archer's arm that you currently have in the game can be redeemed to someone like, I don't know, standing here in the corner of the Archers Guild, in which when you bring them an item, they will return to you a coffer of that item. The coffer of the item then splits into an archer's arm and an archer's quiver to go into the offhand, just so you can, like, glamorize the setup that you have, whichever way you want. Or even have, like, an invisible quiver, like, sitting with the other invisible items. Honestly, I kind of wish they would do that, but they've said several times that having characters have 2 items was very bad. The only reason why paladins still have shields is because it's part of their motif and part of their I want to say that they can't do something because it's part of their moveset, but we've seen them remove pieces of their moveset before. So who knows? Guildmaster Lucane wishes to instruct you on the fundamentals of archery. Good evening to you, Blue. I felt that it was about time that you returned. Have you grown more accustomed to the bow? Before we go any further, I wish to ensure that you have grasped the fundamental essence of archery. Tell me, Blue, do you fully understand what it means to see clearly? To see clearly is not merely to look. It is to observe with intent. Fail to do this, and no amount of talent with a bow will avail you. An archer must remain vigilant for any trace of his target, overlooking not the smallest detail lest it prove crucial to the realization of his purpose. He must, in short, see clearly. The coming task will test your powers of observation. A number of targets have been hidden throughout the city. I would have you seek it out and destroy them. Each will fall easily with your heavy shot technique. When you have completed the task, return to me, and we will continue. Well, okay, I guess we gotta do this now. There we go. Okay, I'm back. Ah, you have returned. I trust that you have begun to comprehend the crucial importance of seeing clearly. I just need to make sure that that was correct. The next trial will test your powers of observation in battle. Travel to the North Shroud and there put down 8 Microchews and 8 Popotos. In contrast to the inanimate and wholly unthreatening targets of the previous trial, these creatures may be relied upon to move around and fight back. Nor are those the only differences. Being comparatively numerous, Microchews and Opo-Opos are anything but difficult to find. And yet, you may be assured that this task will test the powers of observation, albeit in a different manner. This time, you will need to evaluate the abilities in your opponent. In so doing, you will learn, amongst other things, that Microchews produce a poison that could quickly sap one's strength, while Opo-Opos, like archers, possess the advantage of range. Knowing their strength, how will you go about mitigating them? If you commence your attack before identifying an effective strategy, you will soon be made to regret folly. But if you take time to observe your targets from afar, you will surely glean the knowledge necessary to defeat them. I look forward to hearing your success, Blue. Okay. So I didn't really explain this too well during the video, so I'm re-recording this part. When I start talking about stats, and usually what happens is that if you're a melee-focused character, you basically want to focus on the green attributes under HP, and if you're a caster class, it's the pink ones that are underneath the MP bar. And what is interesting is that if you actually hover over dexterity, it says the confusing line of affects physical ranged damage and damage dealt by rogue's arms. Once again showing that a rogue should actually be considered a ranged DPS, but that's beside the point. And one of the things that instantly got me thinking was that the reason why this is a thing is because let's just switch over to Paladin to show this off. So when we are attacking randomly at enemies, we are doing strength damage. If we were to back up and do shield lob, that would be considered ranged damage, as you can kind of see that they're a little bit lesser of stats for it. There we go. The thing with all of the ranged physical DPS classes is that whenever you do any one of their attacks, it's based off of dexterity, because you are just doing all of your abilities are ranged. The only time that you would ever be doing strength is when you walk up and just start auto-attacking an enemy. Or at least it would if that actually did what I thought it was going to. Yeah, so the idea is that like all of the ranged physical DPS classes, even their auto attack is considered ranged. But if we were to go over to one of our casters and we were to walk up to this, the auto attack is actually a melee attack. It's not actually a like magic missile type thing. So it's why when you look at the stats and you look at strength, it includes things like red mage arms, Thaumaturge arms, you know, stuff like that. Because the game actively thinks that... Yeah, the game actively thinks that any time that you do a physical attack on an enemy, it should be dictated by strength, unless you're ranged DPS, which is why I consider a rogue a ranged DPS class, because even when you're attacking melee, you're still using dexterity. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of clear that up and replace that whole long ramble in the video with that. Let's get right back into it. And we're back now. We killed those things. Welcome back, young blue. Tell me, were you able to put your techniques to good use? I guess so. When faced an enemy who can attack from a distance, simply raining arrows upon it is wasteful and dangerous both. The battle would not be more than a contest of strength. By employing the appropriate technique, however, one may bring down one's foes with greater ease and fewer arrows. For instance, you may choose to prime your weapon as well as strike hard, or employ toxins to sap their strength over time. On the assumption that this fact dawned upon you prior to your fall of your 16th target, I congratulate you on passing the trial. Lay, Silver, what is your honest evaluation? Not bad. If you ask me, the adventurer pulls a good bow. It is enthusiastic besides. Pleasure to meet you. My name is Lee Aleapo. This is my second year at the guild. It is quite a pain, it is quite plain to see that you have talent with the bow, but you must take care to mind your surroundings when you pursue a target. I had an eye on you for the duration of your trial, but not once did you notice my presence. Mind your surroundings, that's rich coming from you. Your every movement was wasteful, adventurer. Your back is crooked, your elbows are misaligned, it takes you an age to prime your bow, twice as long to loose an arrow. In summary, you fail on all counts. You have no talent as an archer, none whatsoever. I shall say it plain, Lucane. This woman is not fit to wield a bow. For our sake and hers, you should revoke her membership. As I've always said, outsiders can scarce be expected to understand, never mind master our noble art. We waste our breath trying to teach her alike. Well, allow me to introduce you to Silver, our comrade at the butts. The fellow was once of the God's Quiver, you see, and he could be a little opinionated when it comes to archery, but you mustn't pay him any heed. He's like that to everyone. You'd be lucky to get much sense out of a fossil-brained wildwood Elezen like him at the best of times. With them it's always trolls with this and elementals that. No offense intended, Lucane. None taken, Lee. I know full well that some of my kind can be prideful to an excess, and intolerant to other races. Though people may hold the same object, never they... I need to reread this. Although people may behold the same object, never will they see different... ever will they see different things. There is no right or wrong to it, for it is a question of perspective. What matters is the perspective we choose to adopt. You are possessed of bright eyes, Blue. Eyes that bespeak great understanding. They shan't lead you astray. So trust to them to what they see. Go now and resume your training. I'll look forward to marking your progress when next we meet. Because of course we're gonna get the custom tunic, right? There we go. I even put the little beret thing that we got from doing the glamour prism quest. I don't know. I feel like it fit. Guildmaster Lucane wishes you to learn how to see things from different perspectives. It pleases me to see how you have grown as an archer. Plainly, you have taken my counsel to heart and learned to see with your own eyes. I would have you discover what it means to behold things from a different standpoint. You will recall Lialiapo, your senior in the guild. I've given you over to her care for this lesson. Speak with her and do as she bids. You okay up here, dude? It was my people, the Elezen, who gave rise to the noble tradition of archery. To see it thus parodied by outsiders, it is an outrage. Yeah, whatever. I've been expecting you, Blue. Shall we get on with it, then? First, a quick review. Reminder how the Bowmaster had you seek out and destroy targets in throughout the city? Well, I would have you do the same. This time, however, you will need to venture outside the gates. I'm sure you've realized this by now, but there is no guarantee for safety within the Trollswood. As you search, you should take care to mind your surroundings. You won't have to have the luxury of focusing solely on your quarry this time. You'll have to keep your eyes peeled for potential threats as well. That said, your objective is to destroy the targets alone, so avoid unnecessary combat and maintain a safe distance from any hostile creatures you encounter. Should you come under attack, take to your heels, risking direct confrontation only if you can't outrun your pursuers. The targets are hidden in the central shroud. As before, use heavy shot technique to destroy each one with a single arrow. Go well, Blue. So I think it's a good time to kind of explain the subtle, but yet not so subtle thing that they're trying to explain when talking about archery. So, as was kind of explained when we first joined the guild, the Makote developed the short bow. We're still using a short bow, but we're eventually going to utilize a longbow. Let's just try that on there. Display our normal gear. So as you can kind of see, there is significant size difference between a short bow and a longbow, as is obvious. But what's not so obvious is the difference. Now, that might sound a bit weird, but short bows have always been a tool for speed. Like, if you were trying to hit something fast, let's just say a small woodland creature like this ground squirrel, you would actually want to hit it with something like a short bow because it's a quick creature. Meanwhile, a longbow is something for accuracy. You're going to want to focus, like, using stuff with more accuracy if you're the type to need, let's just say, hit something from a far distance, like a bird or something that is up in the sky, as it were. You're gonna want something that utilizes more range and more accuracy. So it's all about speed versus accuracy. And, you know, the idea of the Elezen being more the type to elitist is the word. For them to want more perfect archers, a longbow makes sense. For the Makote being tribal groups that are, as they say, nomadic, you're going to want to catch a wide variety of things as you travel. It also helps that the short bow is easily compacted and a lot easier to carry than a longbow. And I just find using the two types of bows as a metaphor for racial differences actually pretty interesting. You kind of get their point across. The second that you say one uses a short bow, one uses a long bow. I'm just so fascinated that they were able to get that across so well with something that is actually a little bit obscure that not many people would actually catch the first time that they are doing this quest. And personally, I just find it really cool that they are talking about kind of a pretty rough subject with actual with hidden subtext and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I just kind of want to explain that since we finally got to the story bit. And Silver basically disparages you no matter what race you pick. But when I was originally going through as a healer, and I got to that point, it actually felt really I don't know. I feel like that his dialogue actually probably should have been shifted depending on what race you are. And like, I don't know. I feel like that could have been an opportunity to do something like that in this questline. Thanks. But yeah, I just find the Archers Guild a very interesting questline, to say the least. You know, I never actually realized this. So, because you can still craft honey from honeycombs, enemies will still drop the high quality version of the honey. That's actually kind of funny. I didn't actually realize that until just now. Well, you made short work of those targets. I must say, it seems that you've learned to seek your prey without being preyed upon. Let's continue then. I have in mind to give you a more practical experience, and we've received a request just recently, which I think will provide the perfect opportunity. It seems tree slugs and vultures have been congregating in ever-increasing numbers in the vicinity of the honey yard, causing no end of trouble for the locals. We've been tasked with the culling of the beasts. This request comes direct from Stillglade Fane. When the Wood Whalers and God's Quiver cannot spare the forces to attend to such matters, the conjurers often turn to us, and before you ask, there's a good reason why they would rather not see this particular task themselves. The creatures in question possess abilities which can cause problems for the magically inclined. But that's quite enough about conjurers' troubles. Lucerne taught you how to discern the enemy's key traits, did she not? Well, now you'll need to do so while maintaining situational awareness, lest you be overrun. Consider this a comprehensive review of her lessons and mine own. Your orders are as follows. Head out into the East Shroud, and there put down 8 tree slugs and 8 vultures, using all those skills you have acquired thus far. Good hunting, Blue. The downside of the really interesting subtext of the Archers Guild is that they are literally the classic MMO questline of, hey, I need you to slay 20 bears and bring 20 bear hides to me. If you can do that within the next, 10 minutes, then I will actually give you your money. Are you okay with that? Then everyone lightly shakes their head. It's like, well, great, see you later. Okay, now that I have all of the hunting log done up to level 20, we might as well now turn this in. Judging by your smug expression, I'd say you've acquired a feel for your maneuvering to exploit enemy weaknesses, whilst covering your own. Vultures are wont to keep their opponents at wing's length, and their attacks will send you flying. The solution to this is simple. Maneuver to the rear. Tree slugs, on the other hand, have an annoying knack for of disrupting spellcasting with their secretions. As such, you would do well to keep the creatures away from any mages in your party. Needless to say, good positioning is the key to success in battle, which is why it absolutely is essential you know your target's traits. For the knowing of these traits is a fundamental part of hunting. Therefore, the Keepers of the Moon conceived of archery. They dwelt not in the city, but the forest. For my people, hunting was a way of life. In hindsight, I suppose that this is more of a lesson on hunting more than archery. Still, Lucine knows well my past. Mayhap it was her intent. Hunting too is an art. Before I came to Gridania, I never gave it much thought, but the more I think of home, the more I begin to realize. Forgive me. I am not given to fits of sentiment. Truly. Forget I said anything. But do not forget that a hunter must recognize her prey's weakness and strike swiftly when the opportunity presents itself. That concludes the lesson. Now I suggest you pay Lucine a visit. She is doubtless eager to hear from you. It's good to see you, Blue. I hope you've learned much from Lee. You, adventurer, is it true? Were you the one that traded the tree slugs and vultures? Yes? How dare she entrust the security of our people to the hands of a stranger? I knew Makote were reckless, but she is downright irresponsible. Shame on her. Did I not warn you that it was folly to suffer that woman's presence in our guild, Lucine? Every time she wastes an arrow on game, she drags our noble art back into the darkness. Aye, and this girl too. She is an embarrassment to us all. That is quite enough, Silver. Your skill with the bow is undeniable, as your love for our nation. But there is much and more you have yet to learn about archery. Blue has matured greatly in the short time that she has been with us. You know that much is true. I suggest you come to terms with Blue's presence here. You'll be giving her her next lesson after all. Unless, of course, you have any objections. Good. As for you, Blue, I would have you devote yourself to your training wholly. Devote yourself wholly to training ahead of your lesson with Silver. Suffice it to say, he will not be an easy instructor to impress. On that, we can agree. Yeah. Since all the stuff I have has been pulled from the other classes I'm currently doing. Like, my stuff is already pretty high up there. Wait, which is the one that has... Oh, it must be Monk. Or, it isn't? Huh. Either way. Guildmaster Lucine desires that you train under Silver now. Welcome back, Blue. I trust that you have been keeping your nose to the grindstone. As I mentioned last time we spoke, you will train under Silver's tutelage today. Put aside your misgivings and avail yourself of his wealth of experience. Go now. Present yourself before him. Okay. I see it was too much hope that you would not return. Others believe that you have potential. I am not so easily convinced. Like so many adventurers, you have not the faintest inkling of what it means to be an archer. How could you? Archery is a proud tradition of the, Wildwood Elizon. The essence of this art, to read one's enemy, has been instilled in us over centuries. In that time, we have defended the great nation against every imaginable foe, granting us insight which you will never possess. Can you recognize the subtle signs that betray a coming action? No. Can you accurately predict an opponent's movement? No. Can you glean your foe's intentions at a glance? No. And can such things be learned by one who knows nothing of our traditions? No. It is only out of respect for Lucerne that I have agreed to teach you. Go to the East Shroud and seek out the targets hidden there, but do not presume that this will be as easy as before. As I told you, the ability to read one's enemies is fundamental to archery, yet the trial set by my colleagues did not require you to do this. Mine will. Targets you seek have been hidden, and I do mean hidden in the midst of a region rife of savage beasts. They will play the part of your enemies. In the unlikely event you spy a target, your limited range will necessitate that you slip past its bestial guardians prior to taking aim. A feat I consider beyond you. Is that a frown? Perhaps you were thinking that the Makote sent you a similar task. You are wrong. She merely made you consider where your foes are. I demand that you discern precisely where they will be. How then will you go about this? Observe them closely and discern their characteristics. Learn to read their movements and recognize patterns in their behavior. If it has eyes, let it not see you. If it has ears, let it not hear you. Be neither where it is nor where it means to be, and thereby pass unnoticed. But enough talk. Whether or not you have heed of my counsel is your decision. I will shed no tears should you fail. And then in like 2 seconds I did it. You know, a funny note. Silver mentioned that the reason why he doesn't think that we are capable of doing something like this is because we did not grow up in an environment where we can discern enemies' intentions. Unfortunately for him, it appears that we do. What he's effectively talking about is the pattern that enemies put off when they're about to attack. So, like, as you can see, like, if we're, like, still standing here... Oh, I guess it just auto-attacked it. You'll notice the, like, orange... That one's just not hidden at all. Come on, dude. Is that you'll notice the, like, orange radials that come out from enemies. Effectively, what he's talking about is that, in which we are able to kind of see the intention of an enemy and where they're about to attack us. Like that. So we can actually avoid attacks. It's not going to come up until... I think Stormblood. Like, they don't even, like, talk about it. But, like, us having the Echo allows us to be able to see those... lines. Effectively, we have future sight, which is kind of neat. Okay, now I'm back. Just have to let him know. You have returned. A passable performance for an adventurer, but the bare minimum for any archer. I carry with me generations of wildwood traditions, a tradition built upon the bones of the many outsiders who tried to take what is ours. It was my ancestors who first learned to conceal their presence and fight from the shadows. To hold the enemy at distance and protect the weak. All of it, everything was... This is a waste of time, you cannot understand. But if you're so intent on following the footsteps of my people, I bid you go to the North Shroud. Ixol's scouts have been sighted near the river, east of the Etat Spire. And unless you are entirely ignorant of Gridanian history, I need not explain that this act of aggression is part of the centuries-old conflict. The minions do not matter, it is their leader, Nezul Catalan the Violator, who must fall. He commands the scouts, and he will be well guarded. He stands upon hostile ground, with birdmen and not walls for protection. If you are diligent and determined, you can slip through the defenses and slay their leader. This is the art of the Gridanian archer. Embrace the wisdom I have bestowed upon you, and the fight will be short. If you see the deed done If you see the deed done, adventurer, I will take it as proof of your commitment to us, and labor no more to drive you from the guild. Now go. There we go. Since we're down here, we might as well get the aetheryte that's over here. I've been putting off getting it because, there is a very clear line that when we pass this bridge, the enemies all get incredibly stronger. Yeah, they didn't even bother me. That's okay, though. One of the interesting things is that they do try to put high-level areas inside each of the different zones. So there's a reason to come back to them later when you're a higher level. You know? I just feel like it's kind of a neat thing that they include. It's a very classic MMO, but there's also several MMO stuff that is, this area is strictly the under-leveled stuff, and this is strictly the over-leveled stuff as well. So it's a toss-up. Okay, here we go. So one of the interesting caveats of this is that the enemies are going to hit us really hard if we mess up and get seen. It is kind of a stealth section of the game, but in reality it's kind of trying to teach you that as a ranged DPS, you are supposed to fight your you're supposed to pick your battles. And if you pick the wrong ones, sometimes you will be very worse for wear, as it were. What? I shall assist you, adventurer, but I was actually trying to do this stealthily. I don't know why you just ran in. Like, I was doing this stealthily. I don't... There we go. We only need to take out the leader, and then all the rest of them will just run. Oh. That was rather anticlimactic of an ending. Okay, now with that done, we're now done with the level 15 quest. Even now, I struggle to credit the sentry's reports, yet here you are, and Nazul Katlan, the Violator, is no more. That a goddamn adventurer should be so... Only by the grace of Namina herself could you have survived. But even though it was pure luck, I will keep my word, Blue, and I shall... Should you stay or go, I care not. You have completed the task and are no longer my responsibility. Go down to Lucerne. She will doubtless lavish you with praise. Oh, you'll get no more from me. Off with you. Okay. I'm given to understand that you single-handedly drove off an Ixal scouting party, and that you did so with precision and guile. How exactly was that training, Lucerne? Blue's just an adventurer, so Silver thrust her into the jaws of the enemy in the hope that she wouldn't come back. And when, against all expectation, she did come back, that stubborn arse still refused to acknowledge her skill. Oh, my hair's like all messed up right now. What the heck? Is that truly your impression? Well, yes, he said it was pure luck. Mere noise. Silver sees Blue's skill, and of that's no doubt. Did you not mark the way he covered his mouth when he uttered the words? There's a habit he has of doing on occasion when his tongue and his heart are in disagreement. For all of his skill at reading the idiosyncrasies of others, he has yet to recognize his own. Impressive work, Blue. You have applied yourself to Lee and Silver's lessons, and demonstrated your command of the core concepts. You are now an archer in your own right. Allow me to teach you something to commemorate your accomplishment. Repelling shot is an advanced technique that enables an archer to evade attacks while continuing to fire upon her opponent. Used wisely, it can grant you a brief respite in the heat of battle. I have faith that with regular practice, you'll be able to learn how best to employ it to your advantage. Remember your senior's lessons as you strive for true mastery. I'm actually tempted to grab that hunting hat because since it's already cream, I don't have to waste dye on it, and I could just throw it into the glamour plate. Apparently I need to get new shoes since the ones I have is exactly the ones here, but are normal and not high quality. Yeah, I'll just grab the hat. I think I'm currently at like, 12 recording videos that I've recorded over the course of like 3 days. Last and not least, we have the Lancers Guild. Welcome to the Lancers Guild, adventurer. If you seek to refine your skills with the polearm, then you have come to the right place. Here at the Lancers Guild, spear wielders gather to train with one another and further hone their abilities under the tutelage of our fine instructors. Do you seek membership with us? Very well, I shall provide with you an insight into the history of our guild. More than just an instrument of war, the spear is also a tool for hunting, and with game ever plentiful in the Trollswood, the weapon has been the mainstay of the locals here ever since the founding of Gridania. With the passing of time, our nation became a gathering place for spearmasters from across the realm, many eager to test their mettle against the famed might of our wood whalers. And it was here in Gridania that their myriad fighting styles came into contact, eventually giving rise to the art taught here today. That spear techniques could be formalized, that all owed much to the founding of the Lancers Guild by wood whalers, Captain Mistale nigh on a century past. The tradition of accepting students from without as well as within Gridania's borders persists to this day, ensuring that the art of the polearm may not only survive, but also continue to evolve. Well, there you have it. I hope this brief history of the guild has helped settle any doubts in your mind. The Lancers Guild is always eager to welcome new initiates. If you've the will to enlist, seek with me again, and we will begin the enrollment procedures. Well then, have you made up your mind to enlist in the Lancers Guild? Excellent. I shall let Guildmaster Wayne know what to expect you. All who seek in admittance to our ranks must present yourself before him. He will judge you if you are fit to become one of us. Pray make your way to the training area within. Our guildmaster awaits you there. Well met, adventurer. I understand that you wish to learn the Lancer's art under our roof. I see you have some combat experience, yet it remains to be seen if such skills as you have acquired will avail you here. But no matter, in my capacity as Guildmaster, I shall guide your training. Begin with the very basics, the principles of our art. There exist myriad fighting styles, each of which has its own unique abilities. None, however, can claim to be as offensively minded as ours. Our approach is ever one of attack, no matter who or what we face. An experienced lancer is able to wield a polearm as if it was an extension of his body. He transforms into a raging storm before his foes, delivering a barrage of devastating thrusts and slashes. To facilitate such a relentless assault, we lancers forego plate, favoring armor of leather and chain. Such materials as provide adequate protection without unduly hindering movement. A lance's worth may be measured quite simply in how swiftly and decisively he can pierce his enemy's defenses. By its nature, the polearm is a perfect weapon to wield, for good or ill. Even a farmer's hands, it is capable of wreaking considerable havoc. Thus has it been a mainstay in every great army since ancient times. Yet know that a lance alone does not a lancer make. Faced with unfavorable odds, an unseasoned spearman will break formation and flee without a moment's hesitation. A true lancer, however, flinches not before his enemies, for he knows not the meaning of fear. Ever does he press forward, disdainful of the odds, that he might pierce the enemy line and open a path to victory. Needless to say, doing so requires no small amount of courage. And that is why our guild has striven from the first to instill this essential quality of every soul who passes through our halls. Arduous trials await those who will join our ranks. Knowing this, you have the resolve to wield the lance? Yes. Well said, adventurer. I see no reason to deny you a place within our ranks. But I neglected to introduce myself. I'm Wayne. I believe the Y is silent. Master of this guild. Pleasantries duly exchanged, I shall add to your hunting log the name of the creatures against which a lancer might hone his skills. In celebration of this occasion, I hereby present with you your very own spear. Arm yourself with it and speak to me once more. I will have you undertake your first task, a trial to be precise. Is that trial, for instance, the telling me to kill the 3 things that are just outside the door? So you were able to discern one end of the spear from the other. Good. You're doubtless eager to put your new weapon to test, which is well, for I too have a test in mind, or rather a trial. In order to develop affinity for your weapon, and learn to gauge such things as distance, you are to go forth and pit yourself against the creatures that are just outside the city door. Put down, let's say, 3 of each. Well, okay then. Okay, so after a little bit of grinding and doing other random nonsense, I am finally here to fulfill this first quest. So you're back. I trust that you've learned something of the essence of our art. A lancer learns best when he is doing, each thrust making him stronger. Such things as strategy and technique will come in time, and never forget courage. Without it, you could not hope to realize your potential. Your look betrays no hint of doubt. That is well. It is clear that you see the truth of my words. That will be all for the present. Now, take up your weapon. Sally forth and cut a path for yourself. Next we meet, I hope that you are stronger. Yeah, level 5, I'm already at level 11. Ah, you've returned. I take from your presence that you have gained a measure of familiarity with your weapon. Good, you are ready to begin the next phase of your training. You will recall my telling you that it takes no small amount of courage to be a lancer. Now, in general terms, courage is the strength to do something which one finds unnerving. However, a lancer's notion of courage is not so simple. Having first drawn a distinction between courage and recklessness, he then divides the former into 2 aspects. I would have you learn each with spear in hand. The first is composure. When outnumbered in battle, a lancer may lose his composure and succumb to panic. Should this happen, all of his training will swiftly flee his mind, and he will struggle to overcome opponents, whom he would ordinarily have bested with ease. He will, in short, contribute to his own defeat. If you wish to become a lancer in sooth, but you must learn to maintain your composure at all times. Do this, and you will be able to call upon every ounce of your strength and skill when it matters most. And so, to your first task, the riverbanks of the Central Shroud are home to the vilekin known as Yazarans. Fiercely territorial, creatures will attack anyone who strays too close, making them the bane of fisherfolk. They typically fall upon their prey en masse, bearing all avenues of escape before closing in for the kill. But what must go through the mind of the victim in that instance? Panic? Despair? Be sure to tell me upon your return. Needless to say, I would have you brave such an encounter. Take this sack of decidedly noisome bait, and use it to lure the ever-ravenous creatures out of their nest. It may be that only one curious Yazaran appears, but what if 2 or 3 follow the scent? Let's see how you fare then. Now go, my young Lancer, and learn what it means to fight with composure. So, as someone who actually did train in polearms for a bit, like, I can tell you that when you have something that like, the spear has always been a tactic of defense, where you are keeping someone away from you at all times, you know? Where is it? Oh, okay, it's in the Central Shroud. I didn't hear that part. Like, you want to keep enemies away from you at all times. And what he is talking about when it comes to composure when surrounded, like, it's not like you have a sword and shield in which you can just start backing away and have a very defensive option while you're attacking. A spear is a very defensive, as in terms of, I don't want you to come anywhere near me. Which is actually kind of interesting that the spear actually, the Lancer does come with a ranged attack where he just throws the spear. And a lot of the techniques are about getting in weak points and keeping enemies at bay from you with, like, certain techniques that make you, like, jump away or towards an opponent. It's very interesting, all things considered. Like, again, I've had the most to say about the Gridanian classes, and you might understand why I really liked starting in Gridania. We currently have selected onto our tilde key a buff like normal. This buff is for the very next attack. We'll do enhanced crit rate, and we'll absorb a portion of damage as health, which is really cool considering that Lancer surprisingly has low health. Oh, okay. So they just wanted to do it too. Got it. Oh, I should also probably explain that. I got some new food for myself, so I have like one thing of food for each of my rolls, which is not usually something you should do, but I just wanted to do just for the sake of it, you know? Welcome back, Blue, and well done. I trust you now understand that in times of direst need, no amount of strength or skill with the spear will avail the Lancer who lacks composure. You are now ready to learn the second aspect of a Lancer's courage, resolve. When faced with a terrible foe, a Lancer may succumb to fear and self-doubt. Should this happen, he will become defensive, and in seeking to cover his weakness, surrender his greatest strength, namely his capacity to attack. A Lancer who fears to attack is not but a man holding a pole. His spear may as well be a broomstick for all the good they will do him. It is not, and it never will be, a shield. That you may learn the truth of my words firsthand, I bid you go into the Central Shroud to an area joining the abandoned dungeon known as Spirit Hold. Since the calamity, that neck of the Trollswood has become a veritable menagerie of fearsome fauna. There you will find 3 collapsed pillars, which have become a haunt for fell creatures. You are to put them down. What manner of fiends can you expect to encounter? To reveal that would be to defeat the purpose of the lesson, my young Lancer. I will only say this. If you face these foes with a Lancer's resolve, you will surely emerge the victor. Once you have completed the trial, pray report to Jillian in the entrance hall. She has grasped the 2 aspects of courage, albeit with some trouble, though I doubt that you will encounter similar difficulties. Her struggle has furnished her with certain insights which I think would benefit from hearing. A Lancer learns best when he is doing. Aye, but the wisdom of his seniors is not entirely without worth. Go now, Blue, and do as I bid you. Okay? Okay, there we go. Now we can head back. Man, I've just been eating these chicken wings, and I forgot how good lemon pepper was. It's like, jeez. I've been expecting you, Blue. By your return, I trust that you now understand the importance of resolve. Like one's flesh, courage can be made strong. It is a matter of training each of its aspects. Now, the endeavor may prove difficult in the beginning. Gods know I know how much I struggled. You may suffer untold humiliation and more frustration than you could bear, but you must persevere. Whenever you engage an opponent, whether in training or in earnest, make a conscious effort to fight with composure and resolve. Over time, doing so will become second nature, and you will acquire such courage as you never thought could be yours. Mind you, not all battles entail a physical clash of might. It could simply be a disagreement born of a conflict in ideology. The point is, it matters not what battlefield you stand upon, so long as you take care to be composed and resolute. Your courage will grow. Did that make any sense? Even a little? I fear I cannot hold a candle to Guildmaster Wayne, but if it is aught I can do to assist in your training... Wait, what was that? Something is afoot in training area. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna be doing this cutscene with this stupid helmet on. And you call yourself Lancers. Pathetic. Your next Guildmaster, arm yourself and face me. I refuse. And all will refuse and all will know that you are no true Lancer. Say what you will, I am above provocation. Craven to the last man. I look so stupid in this helmet. Ah, but what if we have here? Wait, but she is but a novice. That makes no odds to me. You yourself admitted her to your ranks, did you not? Very well, I will withdraw for now. Yet, know that only the fearless are fit to wear the mantle of Lancer. I look forward to measuring your worth in the days to come. There is not more to see here. Return to your drills. So, funny story. This is about as far in the game as I got on my first character before I basically paused and stopped playing for a while. Only to make my... to make the character that I, basically did most of the game with. So it is kind of funny that it was about this cutscene that I went, huh, I think I'll do this later. I think I'll play more of this game later. Blue, you made no attempt to evade his thrust. Did your opponent so unnerve you that as to deprive you of your senses? Well, it is of little consequence now. You need pay no further heed to our uninvited guest. Lest you wonder, it is not uncommon for challengers to come pounding on our door, seeking to test their mettle. For now, dedicate yourself to tempering the two aspects of courage. The composure to bring the sum of your strength and skill to bear against your foes. And the resolve to attack when fear would stay your hand, as befits a lancer. When next we meet, I shall have another trial for you, one that will put your courage to the test. Until then, continue to apply yourself to the training. Farewell, Blue. So, I don't know. I think one of the interesting things about Wayne is that you can kind of tell, like, just from the way that he responded after that cutscene, that in some ways he might not fully... He may not fully agree with his own teachings, you know? Because he expected us to run away, but if the teaching would have worked, we wouldn't have. And he was confused as to why we, as a novice, didn't immediately buckle, you know? Stuff like that is kind of interesting. Okay, after putting that, after putting our last, custom tunic in the glamour dresser, now we can actually continue. I still think, the bone mail looking set right here is actually pretty cool looking. I don't know about you. Okay. Guildmaster Wayne has a mind to test your courage. Ah, Blue. I swear I've gained an ilm around the arms since we last spoke. It is plain to see you have not been idle. In our previous lesson, you learned the Lancer's definition of courage and how you might go about tempering its two aspects. Today, we shall find out if your efforts have borne fruit. I see you have come prepared for battle. That is well. Your next trial will place you in the midst of a throng of enemies. In such situation, one may be attacked from any direction, making it difficult to respond appropriately. Furthermore, the likelihood of it being surrounded is high. Will your resolve bear the weight of uncertainty? Will your composure hold when the odds are stacked against you? We shall soon find out. Should you overcome this trial, what courage you already possess will be further tempered. Now heed me well, for this is what you must do. I would have you travel to Naked Rock, where the animals claim dominion. At the summit of the rock is a sacred artifact, the Stone of Courage. You must claim it and bring it to me. If you are to reach your destination, you will need to negotiate a path through whole packs of flesh-eating scalekin. Make no mistake, the creatures are intimidating foes. To stride into the midst of so many would ask much of any Lancer's courage, but given time and no small amount of perseverance, I am confident that you will prove equal to the task. Oh, don't worry, I've already been over there to get their hunting log entry, so you don't need to worry about me. Did I completely forget how to get to the top of this place? Dang. Ah, there we go. The Stone of Courage. Congratulations, you have obtained the False Stone of Courage. You heard me right, false. What does that say about your courage, I wonder? Ah, but where are my manners? My name is, Falke. Falkis? Yeah, Falkis. We... Falkes. We had the pleasure of meeting at the Lancers Guild, if you recall. On that occasion, I turned my weapon upon you, and you betrayed not a hint of fear. It was in that instance that I sensed that you were unlike the others, that you had promise. Well, I did basically just fight a god and not really take that much damage, so that kind of thing makes you not worried about some random weirdo that points a spear at you. And so, to the present. In its current state, the trial in which you are to, if you were engaged, if trial it may be called, makes a mockery of the Lancer's art. Needless to say, it cannot be tolerated. And so, I have taken the liberty of moving the Stone of Courage to a more suitable location. It now resides in the depths of Spirithold, under the guard of fell fiends. A far more fitting challenge, as I am sure you will agree. Whether or not you attempt to retrieve the stone is for you to decide. If you fear your safety, I suggest that you run back to the guild and bemoan the world's frightfulness to many brave souls to cower there. Wayne will doubtless consider it supremely courageous act. Yet know that a Lancer may forge true courage only in the midst of great danger. Yeah, I kind of like the guy's bill hook. I kind of want one. But, I'm not entirely sure what materials you have to make it out of. I think it's steel. Not iron, but steel that you make the bill hook out of. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to see it anyway. Oh well. Okay, where is it? We should be able to see it from a distance because it should have one of those aggro clouds around it. There it is. It's right here. Just gotta get these monkeys out of the way. Man, that took a lot longer than I expected, and I still haven't actually gotten all of my hunting log done. Ick. I'll probably do it right after this, I guess. So, you've returned. Tell me, were you able to obtain the Stone of Courage? A heavy stone used by the wood whalers for training with the lance. Yes, this is indeed the stone, though it is in rather worse condition than last I saw it. What happened at Naked Rock? The Lancer who recently threatened you moved the stone to Spirithold. Not content with trespass and slander, the brazen fool now meddles with our training. Seven hells, this is not to be borne. Listen well, Blue, though I do not doubt that you know better. My duty as Guildmaster compels me to state the obvious. Heed not that man's words. That a Lancer's courage can only be forged in the midst of great danger is Valangorious tripe. As you have already learned, a Lancer's courage is the product of composure and resolve. Be under no misapprehension. Watchfully navigating the Annals territory served to temper your courage in a manner that blindly braving the terrors of Spirithold did not. As you continue your training, pray keep the lesson of this trial close to heart. I don't think I need any of these, so I'll just grab that. Okay. I guess it's time to finish up that, the second page of the hunting log for the last, and technically second to last class, but I only need like 1 or 2 kills and then I can do the level 15 quest, so there's that. Hopefully that actually fixes my microphone because, like, I want to stop editing my voice so it's not peaking every 2 seconds on the microphone. Okay, let's see how this works. Oh, we get piercing telling from this. Guildmaster Wayne urgently needs you to travel to the East Shroud in his stead. Oh, Blue, you come at a good time. I urgently require your help. Scarcely a bell ago, our old friend, Falke... Falkis? Falkis. Falkis. Falkis? Paid us another visit, seemingly intent on reprising the performance he gave on the other day of your first meeting. As on that occasion, he raved till the air was thick with slanders, declaring every soul who met his gaze more craven than the last. This time, however, not all ears were deaf of his myriad provocations. Seems one of our younger members took offense to his words and demanded satisfaction of the rogue. The two have since departed in duel in the East Shroud. Had I been on hand, I would have forbidden such folly and rebuked the lad for letting pride cloud his judgment. Alas, I learned of it a little bit too late, and the boy is gone. All we can do now is ensure that the hot-headed fool does not come to lasting harm. I would have departed in pursuit of the pair ere you came, but my duties kept me here. That is why I turn to you now, Blue. Pray, go to the East Shroud in my stead and watch over our comrade. Okay, let's, I think you could get to it from here. Huh, surprisingly close, just over here. I wonder how the, encounter went. So we meet again. Do you remember who I am, I trust? I do, unfortunately. Of course you remember your mentor. He taught you the true meaning of courage. I understand that you were able to retrieve the Stone of Courage in Spirithold. It seems that I was right about you. You have the markings of a true Lancer, unlike those charlatans at the Lancers Guild. It is well that you have come to me, for I have a trial for you, one that would do wonders for your courage. Not interested, you say? For you have no choice. Should you refuse, well, suffice it to say, I will not be able to guarantee the safety of your comrade here. When we last spoke, I told you that a Lancer may forge true courage only in the midst of great danger. Needless to say, the threat posed by ordinary creatures is insufficient. You must needs seek out better sport. But fear not, for I have taken the liberty of finding you something suitable. Take this, alchemic... Why did you have to word it like this? Just say take this potion, and sprinkle it upon the exposed roots yonder. Doing so will garner you the wrath of a certain creature, which you must then strike down. Okay. Well, I'm gonna guess since we're in the area with the treants, gonna guess there's gonna be one of those. Alchemic potation. Highly toxic liquid entrusted to you by the rogue Lancer. This is not gonna go well. At all. Oh, hey, look at that. It's an angered elm. Yeah, I've been trying to keep my my armor geared properly, trying not to use any of the dungeon gear, but you know, something that just can't find the good ingredients for them. So you have vanquished the treant. Well done. By striking down that frenzied creature, you have further strengthened your courage. Release your comrade? I shall, once you've completed my next trial. This one will put you against a multitude of foes. Make your way to Lifeman's Stump in the Central Shroud. Once there, Seek out a likely spot among the forest path and lie in wait. Man-eating wolves are wont to hunt there this time of year, and it should not be long before a pack appears. When the beasts show themselves, you are to slay their leader, the alpha wolf. I shall be observing from up close. Better to offer you advice. Also gonna probably enlarge the text window again because, I don't know. I just feel like all the text in this game is just slightly too small, and I don't know why. Okay, just gotta defeat all these wolves, I guess. It's as good as over if the alpha wolf gets slain. Yeah. So all of these pack wolves are going to be really easy to take out, but the alpha wolf is going to be harder. There we go. Oh, it seems you have enraged the beast. Oh. Where'd he go? He was literally just standing right there, and then he disappeared. You're to be congratulated, Blue. By throwing yourself into the midst of danger, you have further tempered your courage. And in the process, you have brought peace to the Lifemen's Stump, a place considered sacred by the people of Gridania. Having undertaken the trials, you must now see that those issued by the guild are not by child's play. Mine is the one true path to courage. All others lead to ignominy. I get the phrase is ignore, but like, whatever. If you wish to become a Lancer worthy in the name, I suggest that you leave Wayne and his House of Cravens and never return. For your sake, I pray you do so soon. Till we meet again. Okay, I made it back. Blue, thank the gods you're safe. The young fool of a Lancer returned but moments ago, and through choked tears recounted to me some all that transpired. I understand that Falkes had again attempted to force upon you his corrupted notion of courage. Cannot say this often enough. A Lancer strengthens his courage by tempering his composure and resolve, not by rushing headlong into danger. You were able to overcome Falkes' trials, 'tis true, yet know that you did so by virtue and true courage, that is, courage born of composure and resolve. You faltered not before the fury of a frenzied treant, nor did you succumb to the panic while surrounded by bloodthirsty wolves. Owing to this, you were able to perform to the fullest of your potential. You have come far, Blue. It is past time that I taught you the piercing talon technique, one of the most versatile weapons in the Lancer's arsenal. May it serve you well. Now, I must need to decide what course of action to take with regards to your self-appointed mentor. Though no lives were lost, this latest incident only serves to confirm what I had suspected, that Falkes will cause great harm if left to propagate his corrupted notion of courage. He must be persuaded to desist, though I do not yet know how. Mayhap his regard for you could be turned to our advantage, but leave such considerations to me. For the time being, you would do well to put Falkes from your mind. Focus on your training and strive to master the technique I taught you. I look forward to our next meeting. Do I actually need anything? Not really. And technically we don't even need the spear. And with that, I have gotten to level 15 with all of the starting classes. Um, honestly, I think they do a good enough job setting up how each of these classes play, and specifically what the sort of just for the story going forward is. Again, when you actually get your job stone and you progress from the normal guilds to what they're actually called, the stories immediately like take off, but I do enjoy the starting stories quite a bit. So hopefully everything is still going alright. I just wanted to put this part at the end to kind of just cap all this stuff off. I'm gonna be honest, I kind of wish I had split it up a little bit better instead of doing 5 classes in one video and making this video 4 hours, but yeah, I think it went pretty well. I the one thing that I wanted to do is I wanted to make sure that each of the classes had gear that I think actually looks pretty good on them up until they hit level 50 and start getting their the class gear. Because again, I really like their custom tunics. I got them all weapons that I feel like thematically fit for the class. I'm just a really big fan of the Carnage sword as a blue blade on a tank. It's pretty good. Everyone except for Monk and Paladin. Yeah, Pugilist and Gladiator have dungeon gear, except for Warrior. So I haven't gotten it yet at this point, but I will be. I will go back into the dungeon and try to get the axe. But either way, I'll see all y'all next time. Have a good one. Goodbye.